That was the match we had tonight.
Life's tough at the top.
Shoulders slumped, he's got his head down. He looks as though he would rather be anywhere in the world than out on this footy field at the moment.
And it's murder in the middle.
And that is a shocking mistake at the start of this final term.
Dean Bailey and Brett Ratton both coaching for their futures in a season when every nail-biter sends the ladder into spasms. And a loss means it's back to the drawing board.
Back it out then down there. Yourself can get him on the turnover.
Yeah.
Blow that whistle, Mark.
Injuries are crawling the Demons. The heat's on the coach and he'll face a frosty start to winter. Melbourne meets Essendon next and then Collingwood.
Brilliant. The batters, he managed this.
The Blues have announced themselves.
It's supernatural.
But if they don't kick straight, Ratton won't have a fingernail left to chew on.
That's a good-looking kick. Trevor gets through, kicks the goal.
It's Carlton versus Melbourne, with everything to play for. This is Friday Night Football.
And how come the Blues are out of the top four at the moment? You don't think that'll be for long. They've been terrific. The only teams to beat them this year are the Cats last week and also Collingwood. But they're a good team, this Blues. Their last 5 matches have been close, no doubt about that. The draw with Essendon, the close one with the Crows, that close one against St Kilda. They got over the Swans, of course, in Sydney, and they went right down to the wire last week against the Cats. Chris Judd in magnificent form. Good to see the fact that he is playing tonight. So the Demons about to come out. As we can see, so many of their top players are not with them at the moment. 8 injured and a couple through suspension. Brad Green, a lot of the ball in the last 3 weeks. He still hasn't had a big bag this year. He's kicked 10 goals in 5 matches and none of the others, but they do need an explosive match tonight, no doubt about that, Melbourne. The last time they played here on the MCG, they actually won by 16 goals against Adelaide. They do play better here. Joel McDonald, by the way, 100th game, 80 of them for the Lions and 20 for the D. So a big night for Melbourne tonight. Can you believe it? This is the very first time that Melbourne and Carlton have clashed together on a Friday night. Perfect conditions for footy, a lot of emphasis on the coaches and a lot of emphasis tonight on Olivia Newton-John. Her cancer and wellness hospital needs $10 million to close the deal. It's 12 months away and tonight we're helping to raise some funds. Olivia's centre stage right now and she's with our own Tom Harley.
Thanks very much, Bruce. Yes, I'm down here with 2 Australian legends, Jim Stynes, President of Melbourne, and Olivia Newton-John. It's all about the Olivia Newton-John Cancer and Wellness Centre, aiming to raise $10 million. Tell us how important it is for you.
So important. We're $10 million short of our goal. The centre is nearly finished, but the Wellness Centre, we need to finish all those programs, and I'm really excited because tonight is another step further forward in achieving the dream.
Fantastic, and with Jim Stynes, you've had an amazing week yourself. How important are nights like tonight?
Oh look, it's awesome, you know, and for us to get a game like a Friday night game against Carlton is really important. You know, a lot of our young kids are playing, you know, we've got one kid who's debuting, and what a way to begin your AFL career. And so, you know, we just want games under young players' belts, and that's what tonight's really all about.
Well, it's a fantastic atmosphere down here. Good luck to the Blues, good luck to the Ds. And Tim, we might be seeing them at half-time again. Jim and Olivia, down to you.
Thanks, Tom. I'm here with Collingwood captain Nick Maxwell. Nick, let's take a look at the Carlton lineup. Just the one change for them tonight. Hampson comes into the side, and Warnock, who had concussion last Friday night, goes out of the team. But one player that's really impressed me this year has been Jared Wade. He seems to me to be a more rounded player.
Yeah, I suppose he's more settled. He's always been a very good player, but he's been at centre-half back, centre-half forward. This time he's playing him closer to goal, and when he is a forward, he's not that release from defence. He's not right up on the wings. Instead, he's right in the forward half.
Is he a difficult player to play on?
He is. One of the things that people probably don't realise about Jared is when he actually leads up at the ball, he jumps that little bit early to take a mark, so it's hard to sort of get your arm around and get a fist in there.
Thanks, Nick. We'll be hearing more from Nick throughout the night. Heading upstairs now to Dennis and Lee to take a look at the Demon lineup.
Yeah, good on you, Tim. Lee Matthews, we saw both of these sides last week. It's hard to imagine the Demons can pull off an upset tonight.
Well, absolutely. They're probably as young as an AFL team is going to get a lot of players out injured, so they're going to depend very much on the Maloneys and the Joneses, the players who tend to be the core of their midfield. midfield. Player like Brad Green, they need Jarrah to kick goals, need Frawley to hold the defence together, but a lot of use, so they're going to have to get a lot out of their very good players.
And that forward line still a work in progress. There's Brad Green, slow start to the season, better last week, 10 goals for the season. Liam Jarrah's the man though that's getting them in the mid-20s.
Well, one of the things their forwards have to do is actually keep the ball in the forward line. They are actually kicking out. Jarrah, we see, has kicked 21 goals, had 1 forward 50 tackle. We see Green 10, 1 forward 50 tackle, Pettard 8 goals, but only 1 forward 50 tackle. It's been a theme at Melbourne this week. On their really good games, they can get up into their mid-20s. That's when they've had their big wins. That'll be their main theme, I would feel, going into this game.
There's Pettard, came back a few weeks back. Injuries, so much part and parcel of Melbourne. Evans liked his game. Michael Evans from Claremont in Western Australia. Impressive debut last week. Was probably Melbourne's best player. By contrast, a veteran was very good. I would imagine best on ground for Carlton. 34 possessions for Heath Scotland, and he will frustrate those forwards that Lee was talking about. So at the MCG, it's Friday night football. It's Melbourne and Carlton. Olivia Newton-John night. Tonight on the halftime show, Sam Steins talks openly about her inspirational husband Jim, and Olivia Newton-John turns back the clock as we attempt to raise $10 million for her cancer and wellness hospital. Melbourne from the air, fair to say the city is a lot more impressive than the footy team right now, but things can change. Judd will play.
Your call, Chris. Thank you.
Green wins the toss. The umpire's in green tonight. Perhaps an omen. Brad, a couple of goals last week, as I said, getting back to some form. Not a big crowd, but the members in. Rain earlier, that is abated. The umpires tonight, McBurney, Nichols and Armstrong, as we try and raise $10 million. Finishing touches to Olivia's dream. Chris Judd injured his foot last week when he inadvertently kicked Mitch Duncan. Some speculation during the week he wouldn't play. Doesn't like injections. Hasn't had one, but is playing. Lee?
Interesting look at I was looking to see where Jack Watts might position himself. It looks like he's drifting in towards the back part of the ground. A lot of people believe in this part of his career he probably should be looking to maybe play out of defence. He's played mainly up forward for the first couple of years of his career. What will they do with Chris Judd? Looks like Sylvia is going towards him at the centre bounce as they're getting into their positional setup.
Seven to take there. Last two. Bit more around the MCG, Friday night football. And we're underway. Hampson back in the team. Facing Warnock. Wins it down. Judd. Stifled hand pass. Hampson goes after the footy. Over the top, Maloney. Holding the ball. Holding the ball is the kick. Welcome back. Maloney with the free kick then. Averaging 25 possessions a game. Goes down towards half forward. Hangs a long time in the air. Laidler got a fist on it. Thumps it out towards the wing. Well done, Sylvia. Slips it away. McKenzie feeds it back. Frawley kicks towards the 50, but it's a wayward kick. The match is taken easily by Thornton.
Back half. So Carazzo just a little bit too far for Murphy, and it'll be a boundary throw in.
Looks like Melbourne have tried to set up a bit of the Jack Watts as the spare defender. I think they've initiated that, so both sides look like they're going to have a spare defender in this first part of the game.
A fair bit of rain about an hour before the match.
Yeah, Melbourne free kick. Melbourne.
So Martin delayed off to Green. Normally a penetrating kick. He goes to a one-on-one. Thornton got to the best spot. That's
to Mark. Straight back.
An easy Martin. Newton just couldn't get into the context. We'll get a second look here now from Melbourne, how they set up defensively. A lot of talk about whether they've been implementing the press.
Hasn't gone.
Play on now. At this stage. Dygan been in the press a bit this week too. Speaking of the press, what a good player he is. Simpson to Yarran. Had a quiet one last week after a boomer against the Saints.
Forced to kick with his right boot. There's Gibbs. Looks back inside. Murphy had a blinder last week. Chip across the ground. Simpson kick to space, I fancy. Walker on the move. O'Halpin, hands to it, couldn't hang on. Warnock knocked it away. The two number ones go after it. It's out of bounds.
It was interesting when Brad Green drove that long kick into attack. One thing, if you know your team's setting up as have to have a spare defender, it's not much point lasting it long in your forward line because you're going to be outnumbered.
Martin did well. Sylvia trying to fend Judd off. Down goes Green. I think Simpson had a point there. No free kick. Judd battles after it again. Jones is in there. Simpson just shuffling towards goal. Whistle and a ball up.
We've commented early on Jack Watts playing that loose man across half-back. It looks like young Jetta is playing a defensive role on Yaron for Carlton against the other end of the ground.
Just 7 disposals last week, Yaron, and 27 the week before. Stokes played that role last week. Such an important player for the Blues. So Carazzo on the up misses, and then Russell.
High! You got him high. He's down there in the ball. Straight back to him.
So it's Morton on Russell.
Much when he low, but I guess he's hit the Melbourne hip hit the hip.
And Scotland finds O'Halpin.
Morton can do more in that situation. Technically, he was very sound. He turned his body, but as we've seen time and time again, the head is sacrosanct, and hence the free kick to Russell.
Got him in the head. Got him in the head.
So O'Halpin is done pretty good. He didn't play the first 5 matches this year. That is the incident. So yeah, you just think, well, Carl Morton couldn't have done much else. But it's the way it is. So the good thing, everybody's got a clear head right now. O'Halpin, he's a handy player. He's got a pretty good record here at the G. He has kicked a handful here, and that's a good start. The Irishman.
Just see Jack Watts on screen. As you can see, no Carlton play in the vicinity. He probably should have been set up in that defensive hole where Santandro O'Halpin marked the ball. So if you're going to play that loose man in defence, you've got to influence the contest.
Carlton with the opening goal then. Martin with the leap, Hampson with the knock. Stolen away though by Maloney inside the forward 50, off hands. Well done by Sylvia. Bait, some indecision, feeds it back, disperses the birds. Taken there by Martin, smothered off the bird, taken by Judd in turn. Hampson, Garlett, Scotland coming off a terrific game last week. Ditto Murphy down towards half forward, it pitches and goes out of bounds. Let's go down to Tim Watson.
Already Melbourne are really struggling in that area, being able to lock the ball in their forward line. Their entries so far have been really shallow. What they're trying to do is actually get the ball deeper inside their attacking 50. They haven't been able to penetrate just yet.
Now you're spot on there, Tim. They've been just over the white line, haven't they? Gisberts, and now a boundary throw in.
Melbourne have actually been really effective this year. Once they've got the ball inside their forward 50, they've converted to goals. That's a telling statistic right there, the difference of the two clubs.
7 of the 8 most experienced players out there tonight are in the blue Guernsey. So Carlton have got that on the Ds. We know that with all those injuries. Sylvia belts it in, but again, they only get it to about 45 metres.
And that's Jack Watts' direct opponent.
Laidler, who had career highs against the old club last week. Simpson turns his man in green and then gets onto the wrong side for him, but he's a pretty good kick on the right. I say that, but McDonald cuts it off.
100th AFL game for McDonald. Here's Watts. Needs to become a good distributor from half-back and does. Finds Jones having a fine season. Breaks away from the half-back flank. Bait off balance. Took the mark. McKenzie threads a kick inside the forward 50. Almost onto the chest. An involuntary action for Marriage. Couldn't hang on. Shoveled out wide by Thornton. And the little chip comes across from Simpson to be marked by Gibbs. Gibbs spots Laidler. Defensive side of the wing, just lays it off, pushing up the ground. Walker back to Laidler, kicks it down towards half forward. Assumed the position early did Watts. McKenzie, Martin, Evans out wide. Now McDonald goes again, ambitious hand pass, but it will be okay. They've got the numbers. Well, almost okay. Okay is a relative term. Comes across towards Simpson. They battle after the football. Green lost it. See, I told you. Jarrah's got the football. Everything's good. Kicks it down towards full forward. Going back is Jamison.
Stay there!
They're taking a few marks in the defensive 50, the Blues, aren't they?
Well, they got the extra player back there. Whenever you see a side set up their loose man defence, you look, well, who's this going to suit? So you got Watts for Melbourne, you got Laidlaw for Carlton. Just at the moment, Carlton have been held up apart from their help and goal, but it's a defensive way to go and play your footy.
So McLean got the Bronx cheers you'd expect against the old club. Morton wins that little battle, and now Sylvia. Now he kicks the ball to set up for the Blues everywhere, but Jurra on the left. A behind.
Got to make the most of those half chances, don't you? Because they're going to be outnumbered down there all the time, Melbourne, and when the ball virtually fell into Jurra's hands, he would have finished that most of the time.
Albeit a point, it was probably, the end result was probably pretty fortuitous, given it was a 4-on-1.
Digan gets it from Jamison, goes to the wing. Betts has got it. Looking down towards half forward. They've got a spare man. Carrazza by himself looks back towards the middle. Appears they don't have a spare man there. They had him in the pincer movement, but Rivers took the mark on his chest. It was kicked directly to him. Half volley. Evans, Green under pressure, scrambles it only as far as Robinson. Robinson puts it in the air. Watts goes back and takes the mark, and we'll get 50.
Let go, Jared. I've got it. 50 metres. Not in the contest, can't grab him, can't claim him.
How do you get to play that loose man in defence? That's a great position, Tom. Now, you got it every now and again. It is the best position in footy.
The irony, I actually never was allowed to do it because I didn't use the ball well enough, but it's a great position, no doubt. And we're certainly seeing a theme unfolding with this game, both clubs implementing that loose man across half-back.
Watts' kick cut off, though, by Hampson, did well, and then Gibbs has a lovely ball to O'Halpin. Looks up now, cute little kick inside, okay in the end, and Robinson did well. Played it on to Carrazzo, back to Robinson, poor handball. Jones, Robinson gets a third go. Back it goes to Ellard, and Ellard had the ball almost stripped by McDonald. Robinson, well, fourth time ain't lucky, and then Watts and Martin together.
Downfield, Melbourne, free kick.
Oh, that's sloppy from Carlton away there.
Give it to him, thanks.
So the Blues, and then Jones, how do you restart this match, Dennis? You got the rewind button? Because right now it might need all of that.
I've lost the remote, Bruce. I'm sorry, I'm looking for it. Ball down towards half forward. Carrazzo, here we go. This is better. Yaron, well, he could have almost kicked a goal from there. Decides to go to Eddie. Well, he had no chance. McDonald, seated, gives it to Frawley.
It's a mark. No.
Might be time to get the record books out.
It's on back on.
Most intercept marks in a game, perhaps.
Yes, we're on record pace. Jared Waite seems a little testy at the moment too. Keep an eye on that. On the outer side, Jetta goes short, finds Green.
Thanks, Bryce.
Defensive side of right centre wing at the MCG. And the crowd, a late arriving one, is starting to build up. It's not bad now as Green goes in short and finds Gisberts. Gisberts lays it off, pushing up Jones. Oh dear. Satana.
Everywhere. And gets it to Murphy. What a wonderful season he's having. What a great career. Out wide to Yaron. Now Yaron. Lovely kick to Betts. And now Betts can turn and get inside 50. And, well, I'm not sure whether he was
like he passed it to Warnock, I thought.
That's the ninth.
Tell him he's on the other side.
Well, perhaps he thought he's concussed and he thought Warnock was still playing tonight for the Blues. That is a convoluted conversation, but you know where we're going.
There's been about 10 marks taken in the defensive 50s, not 1-4. Well, O'Halpin took one earlier, but it's just the defenders are just basically kicking the ball to each other in the back 50s or the back half of the ground.
And Dennis is still searching for that button.
I can't find it, Bruce.
But this suits Melbourne. I mean, they're the underdog, so when you're the underdog, you just got to keep the game as tight as you can for as long as you can.
So Gisberts and Maloney, good hands by Green to Jones. The kicking's just awful for both teams. Yaron picks it off.
Yaron alongside the centre circles. That's a beautiful, well, almost onto the chest of Murphy. Green got across, got a hand to it. Jones to Watts. Statistically, Watts is having a big night so far. The short one comes across to Evans from Newton.
At this rate, Jack will have about 80 possessions on the rate he's had the first half of the quarter.
Good for his confidence. Goes down towards half forward. You guessed it, straight to Simpson. Paddles it across towards Judd. Hampson, Judd trusts his kicking, goes across the ground. Taken by Russell. All Melbourne to the far side, so he needs to come back, and he does, to Laidlaw. Very wide is Garlett. Will it get there in time? Yes, it does. He marks forward of right half back.
Now McLean's on about 40 metres away, but he goes to Murphy.
Just watching Melbourne defend, it's hard to decide. They're trying to implement some form of defensive zone, but it's a bit sporadic. Some are going man-on-man, some are in a structured zone, just a little disorganised at the moment.
And so Murphy, big fly, Hanson in the front spot. Waite's attack on the ball was really good. Down low, Rivers coughed it up, and then Simpson, a dangerous kick. And unfortunately, Betts couldn't quite. Well played, Frawley. And a boundary throw in. So Dean Bailey, big interview today in the paper. Interesting reading. Our co-commentator Ian Matthews getting a good mention. Free kick.
On the ball.
Oh, gee, against Jones.
Go through, Jace. Go through, Jace.
Yeah, they've sort of held the game fairly tight, Melbourne, in this first 10 minutes or so, but they just look so difficult to actually get and be able to generate scoring shots. So Carlton all of a sudden got one goal, you get a couple of a second goal, breaks the game open very early.
So just the 2 goals for as a Blue. McLean kicked 39 goals for Melbourne, runner-up in their best and fairest, 3rd in another year. Can he hurt the old team here? Well, the crowd roared, and that meant he missed.
It's interesting that they're playing him again tonight. McLean had a poor game last week, but he's got to get back into senior tempo. Last week he just didn't look like he had senior tempo. It doesn't always come. He's just got to play a few games after playing the lower levels.
Crawley to the outer side. Watts did well with the body. Hampson, bit lucky, came back to him. Maloney, Hampson, flicks it nicely to Dygan. Dygan inside the forward 50. Wow, that was interesting. I don't know what to say. I'm still looking for the remote. I didn't see that. Ball comes outside the 50. Leading in the race, gathered by Rivers. Untidy hand pass over the shoulder. Well played by Yaron. Taps it inside the 50. Ellard beat Bennell on the bounce. Got it across to Yaron. Centering kick with his back eventually to the kicker was Betts. It comes back towards him. He tries to knock it across towards Ellard. Melbourne in there in number. Advantage paid. Melbourne will get a free kick. No, it's a throw. Well, there is a push in the back. Apparently not.
It's been a real hallmark of Carlton's game this season is their inside 50 forward pressure. They're ranked 2 in tackles.
That's it there, Andrew.
And Andrew Walker's been certainly one of the prime moves in that area. Great forward pressure from the Blues.
So Walker, this could test him. Hasn't kicked less than 2 goals in Carlton's last 4 games. Really relishing the move up forward. It happened late last year and probably saved his career, but this one is never online. Misses it out to the right.
Let's go back down to Tim.
Oh, you've got to love James Frawley's versatility. He's played on Buddy Franklin when they played against the Hawks. Last week against St Kilda he played on Nick Revolt. This week he's picking up Eddie Betts. I mean, he's one of those rare defenders that can play on the tools and the big, strong-bodied forwards and also go for the smallest players in the ground.
He was named in the back pocket on the All-Australian team last year, so well earned. So the last 8 inside 50s to the Blues tonight.
That putting Frawley on to Betts is just the acceptance. Betts is as much a marking player. He's a crumbing player. He likes to get on the lead. He likes to be a target player. So I think they've identified our best defender goes to Betts.
Got massive shorts.
I'll say, I'd love to bet he's Taylor.
So Hampson kicks the ball back. Warnock, front spot, should have held it. Betts lurking. Betts gets it to Walker, to Garlett. I think he's run it through for a goal. A bit of magic. Keep the button on now.
There's the spilt mark. Now they're in trouble.
It's one of those ones with Warnock. He wasn't sure whether to take it in the hands or the chest. He sort of went halfway. He wouldn't want to see the replay of that one.
Tough week for the Warnocks. Margin 13 points. Taken a while to build. 7.5 minutes out from quarter time. Murphy goes after the football. Stands up in the tackle. Martin. So they go forward inside their 50 for one of the few times in the last 10 minutes or so. Off the ground, Pettit gives it across towards a teammate. On his knees, Marek knocks it back there towards Morton. Morton's hand pass to Evans. Evans to the pocket. But the mark held by Newton.
Played in front for the quick kick. That's the most important thing. Newton picked it up well. He was impressive last week, Evans, in his first game. He had about 27 disposals. Melbourne got beaten, so like it was all doom and gloom, but that was a really good first gamer.
Yeah.
He can find the footy.
That was the irony in all of that. They found a player.
Yep.
So Newton, not a bad kick. Started well last week. This one just across the face. Through for a minor score.
Melbourne have been quite effective once they've got the ball inside their forward 50 and converting that into scoring shots. Their trouble has been getting it in and then conversely defending on the way out. So really good to see Evans just get the ball on the boot and get it inside their forward 50. At least give them a chance to score.
So Gibbs to himself, gains a couple of metres and then bangs it along. Hampson flies in the middle. Warnock up there, the demon Warnock, and a boundary throw in. It's a part of the game that Carlton have been impressive in, has all that contested footy this year. They've raised their bar. So they lead by a couple of goals. Maloney, oh, well done, Robinson. Good hip and shoulder. Maloney didn't shirk it, but then Robinson missed everything with the kick.
Free kick.
Just had a bit more time, I think, Mitch Robinson there. Could have...
Outside the line, it's out on the full. Outside the line.
Gee, he pickpocketed him, didn't he?
It was a strong effort to get the ball in the hands, but spoiled by giving it back with the deliberate out of bounds on the full.
So Warnock asked to get it on, so that he does. Kicks to about 50 metres. Looked like Newton might have got a little shove. Dygan pushed out of it by Sylvia. Gibbs high.
You got him high at the start, I thought. Yep.
Becomes a critical kick at goal. They've kept Carlton to 11 inside 50s, or only 2-2 from the 11 inside 50s. Now they've got a chance. All of a sudden you get a margin back to a goal or so. So acute angle, Sylvia, but this is really important for the morale, not only the goal on the scoreboard.
Interesting little conversation, wasn't it, between Gibbs and the umpire, but the thought was right, it was high. Well, he's a goal kicker, Sylvia. He kicked 4 against the Crows. It's normally pretty good, and he's got it. Well, that is a good goal, isn't it, in the circumstances?
Colin Sylvia becomes increasingly important. He's now at that stage of his career where he really needs to take a leadership role at Melbourne. In the off-season, losing McDonald, Bruce and Miller, these sort of players, and with the injuries that they've got tonight, really needs to stand up and start positively.
Very nice kick. Hampson up very high. Bounces around in the congestion. Martin tries to slap it wider. Down went Green, picked up by Warnock. Trying to hack it forward was Gibbs. McKenzie rolled down. Eventually it spills wide, and Melbourne have got the men outside the pack. Frawley goes across to Martin, and Maloney close to the boundary line. Sylvia edged under the football. No free kick. Goes back. Almost found it. Thornton on his knees. Scotland. Oh, this is going to make them upset.
Stop. Hey, Scotland.
With some justification. Scotland sung his praises last week. Does it week in, week out. Here's Laidler. And that defence really has stiffened this season for Carlton. Across the ground he comes. Yaron.
Play on, you're moving around.
With the call from the umpire. Yaron drives it hard. Coming at it equally hard was Jamison, who marked it well.
So 50 metres here.
It's a big penalty, isn't it, for that creeping over the mark by a few inches. As we say all the time, it's a slight waste in time, but it's a big penalty for just creeping over.
Gee, so not coming back on the mark, but I think Morton's perplexed about all of that, but it's a good mark by Jamison, wasn't it? Could be a leading forward the way he took that as he kicks the ball to the pocket. Tim, someone's made a substitution already, have they?
Yeah, the Blues have got some problems down here. Jordan Russell looks like he's done his right hamstring, so Armfield, the dasher, has just entered the arena, so he has been activated. The sub's been activated already.
Okay, so the Blues had to make an early call. Well played, Ellard against Evans that time, and then kicks the ball back to Warnock. Take 2, that's better. Gets the Bronx cheer.
Melbourne going okay now. Rivers takes a long time, and this ball trickles out of bounds. He wanted something to kick to, nothing presented. Still,
I think Bate was the player upfield, and he wanted Rivers to kick the ball back inside towards the centre square. He just had to get out to the boundary line and give him something to kick to.
Martin in front, O'Halpin from behind. Martin came back to him. Here's Green. Spotted Maloney out wide. That was terrific. Feeds it forward. Close to the line. Gisbert's under pressure as it turned out. The tackle affected the kick. Ellard gave it to Murphy. And now out of defence, Jamieson drives it towards the wing. Waite really sighted. Big fist from behind by Rivers gets it out of bounds. And probably if there's any player who plays as a key forward that suits Jared Rivers at this stage of his career, it would be a Jared Waite.
Hold the man, you got hold of him, knows the tackle, advantage.
Gee, so against Martin to O'Halpin, Judd takes the advantage, kicks to the pocket, and Walker and Watts. A couple of high draft picks there.
Yeah, well, Eddie Betts is off the ground. Just see the hamstring there of Russell. That doesn't look good. Cold night, but Watts now with a defensive job as opposed to trying to free himself up on Carlton's Walker.
So Betts now back on getting down low. McLean did well. Garlett. Terrific tackle by Burnell. In close. Morton got it to Jones and Morton slips over. McLean's handball, not great. Wade had to sort of come back. Burnell gone. No. Well, dangerous kick. Well, he might get away with it. Watts needs to either get it over the line or get it out. He's confident, Watts. Pettard, boundary throwing.
I think he's not used to playing in that part of the ground. He could have just rushed the ball through under pressure, through from behind, but I don't think he was quite sure whether he could do that, so he tried to keep him in play.
So boundary throw in, approaching quarter time. Oh, McLean. Misses everything, does he? No, just sneaks it through. From behind.
Great example of the Carlton pressure there. It was Gartlett who chased down the Melbourne defenders, put the pressure on, caused the turnover.
McLean wearing number 14. Always think of Rod Ashman. See that number? Mr. Brownlow by a vote. Bounces off the chest of McDonald, goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in. Robinson holding his jaw. I think we know it's not made of glass, that jaw. He's a tough hombre. So a throw in on the outer side. Martin battling manfully, hasn't had any support so far. O'Halpin beat him that time. McLean, Armfield, Murphy accelerating, able to come round all the way because of a very good Shepherd. Betts in front. Well, he's almost lost them now, Betts. They're aerodynamic, those shorts. They fill with air when he jumps. He was a long time coming down. There's the kick from Judd, beautiful, onto the chest of Waite.
Yeah, that's it up the forward. Judd knew where Wade had to go. Wade just got the yard on Warner, but that was a beautiful use of the footy. Perfectly weighted past the leading forward.
So, his first possession coming up. Very good last one. Quite outstanding. Can run hot and cold, but that's what he wanted. That could get him ticking over. Waite puts it through.
Now, this is exactly what Carlton want Eddie Betts to do. With Frawley on him, he needs to push hard to the ball because that creates a vacuum of space behind, but it also takes Frawley away from where the other part of his game tonight. He wants to be able to assist with the big men, particularly that long kick going in. So I think it's something that Brett Ratton will be talking to Eddie Betts about at quarter time again, about how effective that can be, pushing hard to the ball.
Advantage.
So
he stops.
That's Barley's.
He stops straight away. Back to him.
That's the Barley's move.
He was straight on the free kick.
He called play on, and then the player just decided no.
So after all that, the Blues with the free, kick to about 50, Waite front spot. Ellard, Simpson. And Simpson kicks to about 20 metres from goal. Burnell, Judd getting busy. Waite, high ball, getting close. They force it over, they do. They're going to have to change that, aren't they?
That's a Pandora's box. I mean, if suddenly now a player can decide after it's called, I will stop.
Put the ball up. Now the ball up's got a different connotation.
Right.
So.
That's right. Yeah, how do you know? Amazing.
So Frawley to bring it back in. Carlton sneaking away a little.
Friday night always delivers a big storyline. That's it. They got to get rid of that rule, Bruce. We said it weeks ago. Before Pendlebury. Down in this very pocket, Bruce.
I'm listening.
I tell you, I thought it was very well umpired.
Voice of reason.
Well, but the player wanted to take advantage or the umpire called advantage for the play, so it's not advantage.
Okay.
Which should be the player's choice.
Look, I know it's not wise to argue with Lee Matthews, but Lee,
who's umpiring the match? The umpires or the players?
That's right.
Well, the umpires are umpiring the matches, but the players determine the advantage. But the umpire was the one who said advantage. But anyway, look, talk about it at half-time.
What's up and then down. Sort of like Bugs Bunny. We'll have a bounce down. Not you, Lee. I mean, what's up? We'll have a bounce down towards right half forward.
This is better by Jack Watts, just to get back to the footy. Better by Jack Watts if he's playing that loose man defence to push hard forward instead of just sitting as a goalkeeper behind the play.
So Judd ripped off it, and then Green got it to Mackenzie. Watts again. He's had a big first term. Smothered by Scotland. Mackenzie, a hard goal. Oh, big tackle from the front. Robinson just collected Green.
You really didn't have to see who the player was. You knew when the body language of Robinson really just attacks. And don't his teammate love that kind of aggression in the tackle?
And to the captain's credit, he stood up to it too. So an explosive finish to an interesting opening term as it turned out to be. But Carlton leaded by a couple of goals. It's 1-2, 8, 3-4, 22. Friday night footy at the G.
On behalf of the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Appeal, I'd ask all footy fans to donate generously. We only need $10 million more to complete the project and to fulfil Olivia's dream. So go to www.oliviaappeal.com or ring 1-800-220-210.
So quarter time Friday night football, and Carlton lead it by 14 points, 3-4 to 1-2. Lots of mistakes, hardly pristine, but still, that's the way it is. It might get better. Let's go now to Tim Watson before we talk with Nick Maxwell.
I'm here with Richo. Richo, 14-point lead, scrappy first quarter. You happy with the effort?
Reasonable. I think we can certainly go to another level. The reality is going inside 50, we've got to not kick it to Jack Watts or Jared Rivers. You know, we've got to make more of that last entry. That's probably our biggest issue.
Are you happy to let Jack Watts sit behind unattended effectively as that loose man?
We don't mind him being loose, but when the ball's in the air and it's a contest kick, we just got to make sure we get that ball to ground so that Eddie and Jeffrey Garlick can go to work.
Talking about Eddie, he's been picked up by Frawley, which is an unusual matchup. What's his instruction?
Oh, look, we'll try and run the big fella around. He's a great defender, but if we can get Eddie up the ground a bit back towards goal, make it a bit of a foot race.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, good on you, Tim. I've got the master of the loose man behind the game, Nick Maxwell. Nick, tell us about what happened, how those guys performed their roles in the first half. We had one at either end and a lot of kick to kick.
It was basically the two half back lines, just kick to kick, and Watts was the one doing it for Melbourne, Laidler for Carlton, and they both did a very good job, 7 touches each.
So Jack Watts, one of his best quarters ever. Here's Bruce.
Start of the second term on the big Friday night stage, and the Blues by 14 points. Scotland, brilliant season, magnificent last week. Robinson's kick inside, just over the top. Rivers, heard Alan Richardson talking to Tim about the good work by Rivers in the first quarter for the D's, the opposition. And Warnock's kick, not that well directed. Laidler did well. He took the bump and got the handball to McLean, and Yaron at his best doing just that. Just too high in the end for Walker, and Betts, and Gibbs onto it. And Gibbs brings it back to the goal square. Warnock. O'Halpin. Warnock.
Oh, in his
It's a free kick.
Oh, it's costly. And Dever was there.
50 metres.
It's going to take him about 6 inches.
Keep going, you'll be reported.
He should be out outside the stadium with that figure. That was just the desperate lunge. First guy got there to the first, jumped on his back.
So O'Halpin kicks his second goal and the Blues get away.
The initial contest, and there was a great spoil by Warnock, and then in just his endeavour to get back to the ball, he's a little clumsy. I guess you've got to respect the effort to get it, but got to execute the skill a little better than that.
So the margin is 20 points. Good bounce to restart play. Hampson slaps it down, wide of the congestion. Mackenzie coming off the line, couldn't do much with the footy. Martin, wholehearted, slaps it out, taken by Sylvia. He kicks it down towards half forward. Coming up on the burst, missing the football was Simpson. Oh, shedding a shoe was Pettard. Opportunity now for Jetta. He's through Jetta. Sends it down towards a vacant goal square. Well, wide of it, actually. Murphy tracks it back towards the boundary. Does he want to keep it in? Yes, he does. He's got support. Gibbs. Murphy. Murphy takes them on. One bounce. A second. emphatically putting it down. Now a little chip to the wing. Well played. Missed by Hampson, knocked across the boundary line by Watts. Well, how about that? We need the barrier, please.
Just here, Lee. Now, he knocks the ball over the line before he actually gets into the back there of Halpin.
Well, if the line ball adjudication, I guess, but...
So you're saying the ball was actually out of play before the free kick was given?
I thought he'd certainly played the ball before Halpin got underneath him. I mean, in slow motion, it's easy to see that, but felt like he hadn't interfered before he'd actually played the ball. Now, Garlett's kick inside the 50, so the Blues attacking. Warnock's had a really nervy night, hasn't he? It's been a tough night for him with the drop mark. And then that free kick. Walker, clever. Or was it a throw?
Scoop.
Lifted the ball. John McDonald's. Oh, I didn't think so.
Geez, he was away as exciting by Eddie when you see him.
It's, I guess the scoop and a knock on are very close, aren't they?
I reckon when it's open hand under the ball is the indicator for the umpires.
I liked it. There's Jetta. Right centre wing, Jetta. Side down by 20 points. And in trouble, you feel. Goals not coming freely. There's Sylvia, their solitary goal kicker. Morton goes with the outside of the boot. Newton was up, couldn't complete the mark.
Free kick, Heath Scotland. Prohibited contact. Free kick, Heath Scotland. Prohibited contact here.
This is about 30 metres away.
Long way from the footy.
Yep.
Hang on, Heath. Heath back behind the mark. Keep going, Chase. Prohibited contact.
Not sure who was the offending party. Green was the closest player when we look back, but doesn't mean it was him. Scotland weaving back to centre half back, and Thornton goes short to Dygan. Man on the far side, decides against going that wide. Virtually would have gone at right angles. So Dygan now has got himself into a bit of a pickle and comes this way at right angles and finds Carazzo. Carazzo sees Laidler, and now they break into space. Laidler delays the kick down towards half forward. Jones did well. Great closing speed. The kick didn't help Simpson too much, and the ball is slapped out of bounds.
The ball, he comes in, hits you in the back, I'll give you the free every time.
So there's a further explanation. Heath Scotland nodding and happy with all of that. Good tap by Martin to Green, and then Green belts it forward. Newton makes the contest against Laidler. Thornton stayed down, and then Newton belts it out. So how can Melbourne generate some scoreboard pressure here? Just the one goal.
To see Newton pushing back and Jack Watts at the top of screen, trying to make Jeremy Laidler accountable from Carlton's end.
Martin front spot. Well done, McLean. Gets it to Ellard. Ellard's kick towards Walker. That's a fine mark by McDonald. So McDonald now, good kick too. They're off here. Rivers can really attack. Had the little fumble, then handball to Gisbert. Slow to get it onto the boot. And then a bit of a miss there by Yaron. Jarrah, normally a beautiful finisher, loves the MCG and brings up their second goal.
Chris Yaron, he probably just...
No, didn't go hard
quite the step back, didn't take it.
Really, as you mentioned, Lee, really impressive size, Liam Jarrah. He's about probably 6'3" in the old, and plays at ground level just as spectacularly at up in the air.
Back heel from Judd initially, and then he got it from Ellard. Kicks inside the forward 50. Last man standing might be White. Goes with the outside of the boot. Never had it on line. Once a free kick, nothing doing. So Aaron Davey has passed the baton. Suddenly Chris Yaron's got it. The outside of the boot. Frawley. Morton. Backed over the line by Laidler.
I think the baton might have been passed from Yaron by somebody else here tonight, in between Davey and Yaron.
You saw me play?
Got a hold of his arm again, Stefan.
You thought it was a bit rich?
No, I saw another.
Got a hold of his arm again,
Saw another Carlton player do the same thing in the first quarter.
Oh, okay. I was looking for the remote at that time. Here's Hampson. He's about 60 metres out. He goes long down towards full forward. Off hands, and Green takes it across the line. Got a number for me? Just.
Now, Garland didn't go hard enough in the first quarter. Something similar.
You're sharing it with everyone now. All right.
I'm sure Brett Ratton saw it.
Yes, there's about 20 cameras at every game of footy. You can't hide these days, can you? Everything gets scrutinised.
Bless the good old days, eh?
That's right. Yeah.
So Hampson belts it out.
I don't reckon Lee would have had a problem with that, Dennis.
I wasn't talking about Lee.
Good.
So Hampson had a fair bit of the ball in the opening term. Martin pushed out of it. Ellard, Gibbs, Robinson down low, Green. And now Ellard trying to get through and can't. So 16-point margins.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Bit of a greasy night, but been a tough night for the D's particularly. Carlton aren't purring though, are they? They're just going. Gisberts. Gibbs with Gisberts. And that ball in dispute. Not sure what will happen here.
On the ball, Dave, on it, ball. Left two straps, Skip. Stay there.
So Juddy to get the free kick.
He's at left half forward, Judd. Got busier as the first term went on. Coming up for his 10th possession now. Goes back to Scotland. They've got a spare man on the far side. Thornton thought about giving. And Jarrah did well to get back and close him down. A long way from what you're seeing. It comes to O'Halpin on the other side of the ground. Some good running by Liam Jarrah. Affected the play. Quite often unrewarded running is the best type of running as far as your team's concerned. Off hands and out of bounds at left half forward, so it'll be thrown in.
Tim, down there ground level, it just looks like there's a lot of skill errors because the ball's a little bit slippery. Is it down at that level? Is it that slippery?
Yeah, no, it's still really wet. We know about that shower. You talked about that shower earlier, about half an hour before the game started. So there's still the effects of that on the ground, and players are just coming to terms with it.
Yep. Header did well. Gave it across to Mackenzie. Now Melbourne on the move through midfield. The kick came from Marrick. Haven't seen a lot of him. Bates got the football, feeds it back inside. Unfortunately, Morton had to leave his feet. Hand passes to Marrick, who'd followed up. Long kick down towards full forward, just wide of the mark. Watts going back, and Watts admonishing Marrick, I think. He wanted the ball at the top of the square. He had a shot.
Well, his first two disposals, actually, Dennis, tonight, Marrick, so didn't touch it in the opening term.
It was a good example of what Melbourne are trying to create as a game plan, an explosive movement off half-back from a stoppage.
They have to run the footy, don't they? They haven't got the big pack marking forward, so they've got to be able to run the ball through the middle a bit and set up their forwards moving into space.
Scotland and G.
In the back, free kick.
That's his trademark, Wade. He can go so early, can't he?
Jumps early and puts his behind out and then outstretches his arms. And as a defender, when a player's like that in that sort of form, impossible to spoil.
So Carazzo, very short to Murphy. Good mark. Murphy challenging Judd this year, isn't he, for all the hard ball gets, contested possessions, disposals and kicks. What a pair they're turning out to be. Usually runner-up to him in the Carlton best and fairest as well. Here's Walker.
Walker inside the forward 50 for the Blues, then O'Halpin. Punched away from behind, well done. The ball across the line before Eddie Betts could get his fingertips to it. It might have been Newton who got a fist on that one. So a boundary throw in. Newton works in front. O'Halpin, eye on the football, controlled it pretty well. Sylvia a half chance that he lost it. O'Halpin on his knees. Let the ball come back to him. So a bounce just inside the 50 for the Blues. They've doubled Melbourne's score, but it's pretty unimpressive stuff. They lead by 15. Ellard swings it wide. Murphy hard against the boundary line. That's a beautiful kick. Just an exquisite moment. The game's been lacking those, but Murphy around the corner did brilliantly. He made his debut against Melbourne, round 1 of 06. And his first opponent was Daniel Ward. Mark Murphy.
Great use, wasn't it? Just to pull it back.
And you mentioned Bruce, he's really starting to rival Chris Judd in a lot of areas. He's got that great balance in his game between contested possessions and uncontested possessions.
So Betts puts it through. Stretches the lead midway through the second term on Friday Night Football.
During the week that he wished he had have sent Jack Watts to Goddard last week when he had the opportunity for an education. Well, what he's done tonight is sent Gisberts to Judd. Now, Judd, we all know what a superstar he is, but it's a great education for a young player to be out there playing on a superstar midfield tonight. So he's going to learn a lot playing on Judd.
Certainly get to where the ball is, won't he? So 15 to 36. And there is the champ. Who knows? I mean, we might be talking about a triple Brownlow medalist at the end of this year.
Just saw the two stats down the bottom there, the dominance in tackles and more importantly the dominance in tackles inside 50, which has been a real trademark of Carlton this year.
Good handball by Maloney to Green, and then Marrick kept the boot down. He wanted to kick it off the ground. Petter did well, and then I think it was a throw by Martin. Yarra not far. Now Green's a good long bomb. Has he got it on line? It's a behind. So just wonder how much Brad Green's missing, you know, not having a Cameron Bruce and a James McDonald around the place to sort of share the load. He's not having quite the season he had last year. He's a good skipper, but it's all been a bit hard for him at the moment. Ellard's kick is a beauty, actually, to Walker.
Walker plays on immediately, looks inside the forward 50, setting it up for White in front. Rivers had a problem, played it pretty well, got back and got some body on White, then gets rid of him. Judd arrives quickly, strong tackle took Rivers down. White dives in, gives it to Gibbs across the body, and he just misses. Well, Rivers did well initially, and then Carlton did well to redeem the situation.
Played that well, Jared Rivers. Took his eyes off the ball just to get a sense of where Waite was. Often fraught with danger, but actually executed it pretty well.
So the D's just hanging on, aren't they? Warnock gets it from Frawley and then tumbles it to Bate. It's never got going, well, so far this year, Bate. He just hasn't been able to string games together, all good games. That's a beautiful mark. He can do that, Newton, can't he? Defy gravity.
He can float in and jump. He's a good marker.
Maloney kicks to about 55 to Marrick.
It's his law, Bruce. He can do what he likes. I like that.
Thank you. Marrick's kicked to about 20 metres. Jarrah, well taken out by Laidler. And Gibbs comes in and takes the mark.
So Gibbs finds Murphy at left half back. Murphy plays on immediately. Betts, I think, was headed for the interchange. Takes the mark, sends it down towards half forward. O'Halpern, almost the one-hander. Battles with Warnock. Sends it towards the boundary. Still a live footy. Picked up by Watts. Runs into trouble. Had prior opportunity. Surely. Free kick. Bit stiff. Didn't realise O'Halpern. But so quickly got to his feet. Now he comes back to Jamison. Jamison at the interchange gates. Across the ground, untidy. Well done by Pettit. Got a fist on it. Newton. Carlton just wasting the football a bit now. Bate. Sweeping hand pass to Evans. Evans looking for Jetta on the lead. Terrific stuff. Armfield gets a fist in there. Just a wraparound fist. Didn't touch the player. That's a hard skill. And he knocked it out of bounds.
One of their fastest players, Armfield for Carlton. It was actually a really well-weighted kick, but just shows you the value of putting the arms outstretched in a marking contest.
And so Martin, Maloney, and then Jones. I'm with you, Dennis. I reckon Carlton have left the door open a little bit here.
Yeah.
Melbourne just obviously need to kick a goal.
Melbourne are playing really basic footy. Kick the ball forward, kick it down the line. It's going to be hard for them to kick a big score, but at least it is making life a little bit more difficult for the much more experienced Carlton team.
Next goal or two, so vital here in a low-scoring match before half-time. Jones to Bate to Frawley. Now, can he hit a target? He goes across the ground. That's a good kick. Morton, high draft pick, who just hasn't quite gone on with it. He's in a bit of a lull in his career. That's a neat kick, though, to Newton. If you'd never seen Newton play and you didn't realise he'd been at the club for 5 years, you'd think, gee, he's a prospect, isn't he?
Well, he's got Thornton as the matchup. So Thornton normally plays on the sort of the third marking tall, certainly behind Jamison, and he really let Newton get a 5 metre break on him. You, as a defender, should be able to stay closer than that. Really, it was an unpressured distance he had to mark the footy.
He played 10 games in 07, 6 in 08, 5 in 09, 4 last year, and this is his 3rd this year. So it's not a good graph, but that's a very good kick. He'll be playing a 4th this year, next week.
Newton certainly making the most of his opportunities. Melbourne have only had the 16 inside 50, so be able to be as close as they are. Carlton certainly dominated in getting the ball inside their forward 50. Might be an area of concern for Brett Ratton.
So back in the middle, Martin missed everything. Murphy, Scotland, Jamison goes down towards half forward. Strength, McDonald. Just out-muscled Walker, took the mark. watching Newton, Bruce makes a very good point. You can see why they would be reluctant just to cut him. He's got something. He's got some bits that are intriguing. Unlike that kick.
He's having a howler, Warner.
That's a beautiful kick coming in onto the chest of Robinson. Came from Garlick. Whoa.
Coach killer. I think that's the coach killer. Yes, the free kick, the little short pass, out of bounds on the full, and all of a sudden it quickly rebounded, and it's a shot at goal now from 15 metres out, virtually straight in front.
Well, I suppose the excuse his brother had was he was concussed. Robinson gets the goal. Or does he? No. It's a behind.
About the same spot where Warnick missed from last week, about the same angle and distance, so mate, Robinson can't kick him either.
So Frawley bangs it out, and Matthew Warnock let off the hook for the moment. And dropped a mark in the opening term, and then the free kick, which might have been a bit stiff against O'Halpin, but was a poor kick. That's a better one by Bate, to Jetta, to Jones. Can they find a way through here, Melbourne? Kicks to a one-on-one, Newton will be dangerous. Gets up high, Yaron read it better than Jarrah. Still Yaron, he's going to tease Jarrah for a moment. Armfield, now they create a Lucy here. Armfield on the ground because Russell did his hamstring in the first quarter, out wide. So Waite getting into the back half a bit here. Controls it to Betts.
And that passage of play was a great example of what Melbourne have been criticised heavily for. They got the ball inside their forward 50, but just a real lack of defensive pressure in defending the rebound.
So Murphy's got the footy now.
We spoke about the inside 50 tackles. They haven't had one yet tonight, Melbourne.
Yeah. Not one. Walker and Watts.
Was interesting
by Watts.
They've had two really big wins this year, Melbourne, and I think they had 29 inside 50 tackles in one and about 24 in another. So that's clearly what happens when they're at their very best. They averaged 13 in all the other games.
Martin, he's been a warrior so far. I think he's been off the ground. Ball spills out of bounds again.
See Bryce Gibbs on screen. I reckon he's running with Brent Maloney. Brent Maloney's their #1 clearance player in Melbourne. In fact, he's the #1 clearance player in the competition. A new element to Bryce Gibbs' game has been fantastic for Carlton.
O'Halpin with intent down to Judd. Another untidy hand pass. Green hit it hard. Down goes Sylvia. On top of him is Garlett. And we'll have a ball up. Not a pretty game by any stretch of the imagination. Martin out of a crouch, knocks it down. Missed there by Maloney. O'Halpin feeds it wide. Taken by Carrazzo, hooks it back towards the 50. It falls in short. McDonald once again lays it off to Frawley. Betts bearing down. Frawley goes back. McDonald in trouble. Close to the boundary line. Frawley. He was headed there from the start. Once it started to get unglued, Frawley had only one play.
Went with the one hand, McDonald, but they get away with it, the D's. Picked up by Morton, belting forward. Dygan, good take actually, wasn't the easiest of ball. And then he kicks to a contest. Jones onto it. Melbourne a chance here now. Can the ball set up? Newton couldn't quite take the mark. Jarrah falls over. Yaron, Jamison, Yaron again to repel. Good kick. Gives Judd the run. Sylvia and Judd. Lovely handball inside. A couple of #3 draft picks, those two, Sylvia and Judd. Different years, obviously. Carrazzo to a #1 in Murphy. To Betts. Oh, how good was the kick? And then Betts to Yaron, who started it all and goes and misses everything.
Starting to really work into the game. Chris Yaron up to 13 disposals, 11 kicks.
Thank you. Jetta was trying to actually get a little bit of body on him early, and so was Petar, but I don't think to any great degree. And when he gets a bit of space back there, Yaron can be really dangerous.
Headed the big leap from behind, hands to it, couldn't hang on. Upended was Green, and the ball spills out of bounds. Well done by Simpson getting back to him.
It's one of the Melbourne players who provides a real spark at the contest. Lee Ricky Pettit can do the extraordinary thing, but also puts real pressure on as well.
Martin in front, wins another one. Involuntary action by Maloney, boots it towards the boundary. McKenzie, belated hand pass. Green digs it out, taken by Simpson. Onto the chest of Rivers. It's been pretty good, Rivers. goes back deep. Now McDonald's got it. Running for him is Warnock, and Warnock takes the mark. Doesn't have the complete confidence of the crowd at the moment. Goes short back to McDonald. And the moment passes because Rivers ran very hard to get loose on the outer side, but Warnock wasn't prepared to go down the line. There's McDonald, and out of bounds. Now, that will not make the highlight reel.
Gee, it was good there. Sorry, Dan. Eddie Betts, he kept on covering that loose man on the far side, and in the end, he created some doubts for Melbourne. That's a throw.
No tackle, no disposal, holding the ball.
Can't take the ball out of the ruck like that.
But Betts' work off the ball then was just fantastic, which made Melbourne come back this way and put them in some problems. So Burnell, it's been a while since Carlton kicked a goal. Melbourne have got the last one. Another before half-time would really close this match up. Evans outnumbered in more ways than one there with the height and numerically. Back to Scotland. Now they've got the numbers again. Looking for a free there, Burnell, and then O'Halp, a good kick. And Wade is so sure in the air, isn't he?
Good play by Robinson then. It was a really subtle block, but he had his hands in the air. No umpire's ever going to free kick you for that. But that allowed O'Halp just a free access to the footy.
Oh, play on here. So the Blues missing a chance. Now Newton in the back half, and that's a good kick. Is that Watts' first disposal in this term?
Coming out for his first touch this term after 7 in the first quarter.
Out wide, in front Bate, knocked away by Armfield, close to the boundary line. McLean, Bate did brilliantly. Got an arm in there and knocked it out of bounds.
Still trying to work out why Waite didn't take the set shot. He was about 35 metres out.
Tried to go short to Eddie Betts. Tossed in. Hampson to Judd. In trouble. McLean. Gibbs wanting it to sit, it wouldn't, so he carries it across the line.
It's an attempted handball. That's all he has to do.
2.5 minutes out from half-time. Not a great spectacle, but close enough. 16 points the difference. If Carlton were to get another couple, we wonder whether Melbourne will get 7 on the night. Falling to the ground, McKenzie, advantage is paid. That's the way it should work. Well, the umpire called that again. I'm getting confused. Away comes Scotland. Drives it outside the defensive 50 and Jamison. I suppose the player just took it and the umpire sort of joined the party that time.
Good player, Jamison, isn't he? He's a lovely mover. Good sure mark. That one too high, though. Too tall for Walker. Warnock goes back. The handball's slow, but they're going, should be all right here, Rivers, and they get back to Watts. He goes in board. That's okay. To Jones. Jones's kick now. Morton, important here. Melbourne with a chance to counter-attack. Marrick. Yaron's going to close. You know that. Marrick took the chance. Yaron chased him hard. Baton laid a couple of left-footers together and a boundary throw-in. Down to you, Tim.
This forward line press puts great pressure on Backman on their disposal and their decision-making. Melbourne have now sent Jack Watts back again. I reckon that's because they don't have a really good disposer of the ball back there. Grimes is out of the side. We know that through injury. So I think they're just trying to settle things down, get a bloke who can distribute the ball nice and cleanly in their back six.
In the Pendlebury pocket, it's grabbed there by Gibbs. He kicks it back over his shoulder, if you don't mind. Pettit did well, got it down to Marrick. Has his snap at goal, but drifting back. Carrazzo drops the mark. Shepherded well by Simpson, comes away and goes short and finds Scotland. Just thinking about the call from umpire McBurney a couple of moments ago, it was play on advantage. Now, that's a different terminology because normally what the umpires have been saying, if you'll excuse me, is advantage, advantage, advantage. They call the player on, but it hasn't been play on advantage. It's the best I can do for why I'm confused. It comes out towards Murphy. Murphy's got the ball at left half back. But that's right, isn't it? I mean, they haven't been calling play on advantage, I don't think, in recent weeks, or since the season started.
I think it's advantage, advantage, advantage is what you hear.
That's right, advantage to the power of 3. Tom. The kick from Robinson down towards half forward, and Robinson is one of the few blokes who seems to have turned up wanting to play football tonight. Maloney, a little chip down towards half forward. Look out! It could have been he, Evans. Taken by Scotland. Taken a full revolution to Judd. 7 seconds to go. McLean gets a hand pass straight up in the air. A lot of Melbourne players around it. Wait for the siren. Half time. Can't promise the second half will be better, but I doubt it could be worse. 5-8 to 3-4. 16 points the difference. Carlton on top, doing it hard against Melbourne, who came here to clog it up, and clog it up they have. Chris Judd, as always, looking spent. Don't be fooled by that. He's had 14 possessions. Brock McLean, only 8 to half-time, but plenty of boos from his old fans.
Just neither side has really been able to link the ball up with hands and run it through the middle of the ground, so it's been scrappy footy.
Let's get down to Tim Watts.
Jared, plenty of work down back, be holding up okay.
Yeah, it's been good. We got pumped in the inside 50s in the first quarter and second quarter, so we're only a couple of goals down, so leading in the second half, hopefully we can push the ball forward a bit more and hold it in there. So.
Well, you're well and truly in this contest.
Yeah, no, the boys had a crack in the half. That's what we can ask for, and hopefully the second half we can kick some more goals and really put some pressure on them.
Thanks, Jared. Good luck in the second half. The Blues leading by 16 points.
Tonight on the Halftime Show, Sam Stynes talks openly about her inspirational husband Jim, and Olivia Newton-John turns back the clock as we attempt to raise $10 million for her cancer and wellness hospital.
The Halftime Show, brought to you by Bendigo Bank.
Melbourne on a Friday night football. Carlton lead it by 16 points after they led by 14 points at quarter time. A lot of mistakes, as we said, in that opening half, and I suppose getting free ball across half-back is one thing, but you've got to use it, Nick.
You do, and I suppose Melbourne, they've really started their climb up the ladder at a similar time to Richmond. And during the week we spoke about Richmond being the number one for skill efficiency. A lot of that's created from the back line with Richmond, where you've got Newman, Deledio, these guys who really set up the play, and they can really cut up the zones with their disposal. I think tonight Melbourne, it is tacky out there, and obviously the conditions aren't great, but from half-back they're really struggling to find those players that can really set the play up for them.
And the guy they put back there, that man, is not used to doing that, is he? Distributing the football.
He's not. He's done a good job of finding the ball, but I think you need more ball carriers, guys like maybe Maloney's getting tagged by Gibbs, or maybe a Brad Green, someone like that, who can really use their penetrating kicks to cut through the zones.
Let's go down and hear from the Melbourne coach. He's with Lee Matthews.
Well, I guess the glass half empty. 13 scoring shots to 7 down, but only 16 points. What's the plan from here?
Oh, look, I thought our second quarter we got back into the game, even though the stats were sort of pretty even during the quarter. We just got to stop their uncontested mark chain. If we can win, we can turn the ball over from their short kick, uncontested mark chain. Hopefully we can score.
And the competitiveness has been good, but the ability to run the ball through the middle, is that part of what you got to do better?
Yeah, we probably got a little bit stagnant through the middle there. We had occasions where we could have actually drawn the ball. I think we had a couple of handball inside, running inside we didn't take. Our forwards are probably not working hard enough back on the 45.
So what's the main theme you said to them at half time?
Oh, look, I think the competitive nature's still got to be there in this third quarter. I mean, if we can keep grinding away and make it a contest for the rest of the quarter, we'd like to think a couple of decisions might go our way, and we kick the first goal, then anything can happen.
Thanks, Dean. All the best.
And Nick, fair to say, probably the biggest change as far as the Blues are concerned is their defence. Jamison has been very good this season. He's come back a better player.
He is. He's one of the premier defenders in the league now, and he's got Jarrah tonight, so he's really shut him down so far. But Liam Jarrah's a guy, he's an excitement machine, and I think he only needs 2 or 3 touches, quality touches close to goal. He can kick a few goals. He can really spark Melbourne.
Bryce Gibbs, an interesting player too. How have you seen his usage tonight?
He is. Well, he's, the last few weeks he's tagged Adam Goods for one, did a really good job on him. Tonight he's got the job on Maloney, who's the clearance king for Melbourne. He's the one who really sets him up and gets the ball going forward. He's done a really good job on Maloney so far, and he'll be trying to keep him quiet again in the second half.
I've got to say, I feel a bit sorry too for Mark Murphy. Another game-high 17 possessions to half-time, but he lives in the shadow of Chris Judd, does he not?
I think every midfielder is in the shadow of Chris Judd, but look, he's been really good again tonight, Murphy.
He has. Let's go down to Tim with Brett Ratton.
Brett, a really labour-intensive first half. How are you stacking up in the measurables?
Oh, I think from the KPIs we were in front, but I think it's our ball use going inside 50. They're +1 or their extra bloke back there. We haven't made a contest, and I thought they've marked too many balls back in our forward 50.
And so how's the way around that loose man that Melbourne have set up?
I just think our ability to fly in the air. I thought last week against in the Geelong game we sort of made Scarlett and those blokes accountable, but tonight I think McDonald's marked about 2 or 3, and a couple of others, Rivers and co, have really hurt us there.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck.
Good on you.
Yeah, good on you, Tom. So looking at the Blues there, I made the point just before half-time, if they were to kick a couple more goals, you wonder whether Melbourne can kick that many goals to win this game. As it stands, they're still in it, but they're walking a tightrope.
They are, and it's good to see Watts has gone forward now, so obviously got a bit of confidence up in that first half, getting plenty of touches across half-back, but let's hope he can kick some goals in his second half.
So the Blues rolling, they're up by 16 points, but not out of the woods yet. There's their star, Chris Judd, came in under a cloud, played very well in the first term, and I suppose he'd be happy with his first half. As I say, I think some people said he wouldn't play tonight. Well, he certainly belied that. He's been pretty good.
And we see James Frawley there. He's actually got the job on bets there. So a strange matchup with a tall and a small, but he's been a premier defender last year, was All-Australian. Just shows how highly Melbourne rate bets.
And on the mega wall, you can see Mark Murphy will start the second half on the bench, leading all comers with 17 possessions as we take you to Bruce.
Thanks, Dennis and Nick. Please rejoin me after talking to Dean Bailey.
Yeah.
Not out of it, Lee, are they?
No, they're not. I mean, I think Carlton have been the better team. They've had more shots at goal, obviously, but 16 points is still a gettable margin.
So start of the second half on Friday night here at the MCG. Martin wins the tap over Hampson, and Robertson's little toe poke gets it forward. As Dennis said, Murphy starts on the interchange to start the second half. Down low, and can't quite get through McKenzie. And the ball up.
Yeah, we used to talk about who's starting on interchange, but beyond the game, at ground in about 2 minutes. So really, who starts on interchange at the start of the quarters is fairly irrelevant, isn't it, these days?
Jones put down on his backside for the moment. Robinson belting the ball forward. Burnell and Armfield. Armfield started as a sub, got on early with the Russell. Hamstring injury. Walker working it, and a free kick.
Has he got the ball? Andrew Walker.
13 free kicks to 7 in the first half.
Yeah, I think that was mentioned
I think
subtly in the Dean Bailey at half-time. But that was well played. He actually just didn't take possession of the foot. He almost dared the Melbourne player to be just too aggressive and lay a half tackle, which he did.
Missed one tonight, Walker, but he's been a good set shot this year. 8 goals, 2 coming in, so 8-3 in total. 17 goals for the season. It's a career high, and that is a telling kick after half-time.
Jack! Come on, mate, focus on. Hey, just relax,
They
all
were
right?
the respective
Just
loose men in
relax.
defence in the first term. Laidler and Watts. Suddenly, Watts has a man on him. He's in the forward line now, though. Gibbs goes after the football, grabs anything nearby. There's Robinson.
I was saying, Dennis, Bruce, now some players get bullied. They always seem to want to bully Jack Watts.
Why do you think that is?
Well,
he's bullyable.
That's a good question, Dennis.
They just resent number 1 draft picks. Sylvia.
That's probably it.
Trying to find his way through. No way through.
No, opposition players, they tend to find their mark. You know, the players that get bullied are the ones who tend to take the bullying without a massive reaction, I find.
Okay. Keep an eye on that. Scramble. Eventually the hand pass over the shoulder from Ellard. Taken away by Sylvia. Kicks inside the forward 50. Under the ball, Newton. Loose at the back. Here's a chance for Pettard. Run down. 3 Carlton players got to him. Comes towards Thornton. Gathered by Laidler. Tackled immediately by Pettard. Got him down. And the umpire calls for it. We'll have a ball up. The 2 number 15s.
Thank you.
I know on that point, Dennis, and even in his first and second year, different extreme, but John Brown never got bullied.
Point taken.
No, you made a big point here. Did Dean Bailey ask you to do that? Here's Jones going for goal. It's a behind. He's at an interesting stage in his career, Watts, isn't he? He certainly...
Oh, yeah, no, he's coming through. I'm just saying, just as that's a kind of character personality issue, and, you know, players tend to pick their mark of which player can we take it up to, which players we just leave them alone.
Do you think it actually sends a message to the rest of your teammates, Lee?
Well, it's not a good message because, you know, no one wants one of your players to be felt like the opposition can get into them, you know, that they won't react well if we really play aggressively towards them.
So Laidler back to Thornton. Judd working hard here. Does he go to him? He does. She's running freely, isn't he, Judd, after the problems of last week?
Neither side can just link up, can they? I mean, it's almost a kick-to-kick that running up and linking up by hands is something that neither side has been able to do tonight.
She's a beautiful field kick. I mean, he hasn't kicked well for goal this year, but some of his field kicking's been terrific. And Lee, you mentioned 20. That's out of the book. 22-point margin now. 20. But the trouble is they've doubled their score. That's Melbourne's problem.
And double the scoring shots. Yeah, Melbourne. Yeah, the good news was 38 points against at half-time. The bad news, they'd only kicked 22 themselves.
Real slugfest at the moment. Frawley sends it back inside the 50. Touch ball. Walker claimed to mark, then immediately played on. Now the skipper trying to rally his side. Third possession in the space of 30 metres. It started with Gibbs. Now it's with Simpson. He drives it down towards half forward. Back goes Rivers. Not intended for Armfield, but a game of defences. Jones, nice manoeuvre. Morton hasn't seen a lot of the ball, runs through midfield. That's a nice kick, though. Can Watts get across? No. Going back with wonderful courage was Laidler.
Great courage from Laidler, but that could have been one of the examples where you could have exerted some real physical presence on the game.
And got even. Or started to get even. Here's Carrazzo inside the centre square. Having said all of that, last week was the best game I've seen Jack Watts play. He attacked the ball pretty well in what was a bleak situation on the day. Great pressure from Melbourne, wins the football back. It's taken there by Jones. Little chip just beyond the wing. Marek has got it.
It's a hard worker, Jones. 100th game last week was a good one, and Marek out on the full. Just on that back foot, it's a lazy kick, isn't it?
It's a cardinal sin. We saw in the second quarter it was Warnock who kicked the ball out of bounds. And Lee mentioned there the coach killers when you just execute the skill poorly through lack of concentration.
Probably fan killers as well. They kill everybody.
Big story breaking too. I think Juddy has just limped off the ground.
Okay, well, Tim will be all over that. So, Burnell to Jetta to Marek. Oh, that was always a problem. Laidler's read it very well. Marek tries to get the ball back. So Judd off the ground. Moving okay there.
Hopefully he's okay.
Just saw the tackles flash up there. Melbourne clearly getting back into it, but it's a long way back.
Interesting because Judd came through the middle there and really asked something of himself. 3 quick possessions and then a couple of quick turns. So maybe just a little bit dodgy at the moment, but the rest will do him good. Frawley out of defence as Carlton attack. Ball on the wing. Digan into the legs of an oncoming Frawley. As a result, Bate was the beneficiary. Frawley loops a hand pass. Morton back to Bate. Bate does well. Slippery. Well gathered initially there by McDonald. He controlled it well. The hand pass not so good. Missed the football. Murphy a couple of opportunities. Taken by Carrazzo. Gives it away to Robinson. Robinson has been up to the contest tonight. Goes down towards the pocket. From behind Walker, and it's out of bounds.
Was a good spoil by Burnell.
Well, he was giving away a bit of size. I think he was just covering for a teammate. I don't think he'd be the direct matchup for Walker at this point.
So Martin goes really early against O'Halpin. Sylvia tapped it down. Jetta, good tackle by Carrazzo. Tim Watson on that boundary line, Tim.
Well, Chris Judd, we've been watching him closely. He hasn't sought any medical attention. None of the medicos have come towards him. He's actually stood up all night. He hasn't gone to the bench and then sat down. So he obviously just wants to keep the legs moving. I know Dennis gets very concerned about him, but he's okay, Dennis.
Okay.
So Robinson back to Simpson. Simpson on the left, a full forward. Wade attacked it hard. Armfield. This will be a goal. I think it is. Armfield, he is quick. The sub.
Just there, it was McDonald just got on the wrong side. Armfield pushes straight through, and when you're on a burst player like that, you've really got to be goal side. Just the starting point you see there, John McDonald for the Demons, wrong side, and I reckon that's what Dean Bailey is probably questioning right now.
Well, Melbourne 3 goals for the match, and they're down by over 4 now. Judd back on the ground, gathers the footy, gets a hand pass over the shoulder intended for Laidler. Well played by Sylvia. Marek falls to the ground on his knees, battles on. Yaron left it behind. Robinson's been terrific, threw himself in again. Jetta could have almost got a free kick. Well done by Waite. Got the ball out, forwarded by Walker into the path of Carrazzo, but coming across on the angle and playing it well was Jones to knock it out of bounds.
Just watching Chris Yaron play defence, Tom, he always looks to me like he's not really worried about playing on an opponent so much as I can play it in the back half. I'll try and run it out.
Yep, no doubt about that. Andrew McLeod did a bit of that, didn't he, over the years?
I guess if you're good enough...
No, yeah, and then it goes to the wrong person, and what am I doing?
If you're good enough at running it out, you get tagged yourself, I guess, and you can play totally offensively.
Footy must have changed, though, because we're always taught playing the back line. Your direct opponent's your starting point, but I guess if you are getting tagged, your direct opponent's in your back pocket.
Mackenzie's kick. Bates couldn't quite, and then Murphy cleverly done. Thornton's awkward kick. Martin attacks, doesn't quite get it. Judd, oh, brilliant! How's that pickup under pressure, and then sawls it forward to Carrazzo. Juddy sort of had to go and get their own ball. He would have picked it up. Back to Garlett, back to Walker, to Murphy, and then Murphy. Ooh. Well, Judd, remember that goal last week, put him on the left? This is
that moments, isn't it? Just the ability to extricate the ball from a situation that he shouldn't have got into clear space with. Doesn't fairly often, though.
He's still a minute. I mean, he's not quite as quick as he was at the Eagles and all that, but has he ever been as commanding as he is right now?
No. I think that game they lost in the final against Sydney at the, where was it, Anzac Stadium? ANZ Stadium, what am I saying?
That third quarter, I think, will stick in all our memories that we had that game.
And a couple of games this year, so in the last dozen or so, he really has been in stellar form. Here he is again. Gisberts hasn't seen a lot of it. McDonald went to ground. Simpson upended. Chance for Judd again. Tackles Frawley. Frawley very conscious of Judd. Still going. Judd right there in his hip pocket, as Tom mentioned. Across it comes towards McDonald. Little chip pass off hands. And now Mackenzie with a chance across half back. Gives it to Watts. Melbourne can build from here. Watts decides to bring it up. Breaking for him is Pettit. It needs to be a good kick. Well, it's out in front. Warnock needs to scuttle across and be the third man. Not required. Can't get there in time in any case, and it's out of bounds. Well played by Yaron.
But Melbourne having to go really wide, aren't they?
Yeah, they just can't. Well, neither side can get through that centre square. I guess it's credit to the defensive work of both teams just to make sure there's not space in the middle.
So Halpin takes it out of the air again for the second time, but he gets away with that one to Murphy, to Armfield. Good catch. Yep, from Walker. And then Waite wanting a free kick.
Makes it hard when you got your arm back, trying to hold him off.
Heard the umpire with the discourse with Waite. So Carlton again inside the 50. They've dominated that area. Green down the line. Is that deliberate? Boundary throw.
Get the impression that Carlton have reacted to the fact that Melbourne are wanting to drop their defenders back and going wide. Almost not kicking it to the front of the goal square, but almost kicking it into the boundary line, forward pocket, forward flank, and just create these stoppages.
Boundary throw in. Neither ruckman touched the footy. Falls behind. Carranza got a hand pass out. Socket forward by Evans, only as far as the wing. Thornton's in the road. Gives it across to Scotland. Generally does something with a footy and finds Judd.
Thanks, Jared. Stay there, Jared.
Judd about 75 metres out. Just lobs it to space. Waite should have marked it.
Got away with one there, Melbourne, Dennis. So just watching Warnock really closely. Just conceded on the lead, trailed off, and allowed Jared Waite a free run at the football.
So Judd up to 20 possessions now. Murphy still the game high with 22. O'Halpin, I presume, paid the advantage. Hooks it down to a more central situation. Coming up the ground, Watts, head down, taken high.
He's picking it up.
Fair enough.
So Watts, the kick to Pettard. Well done, Yaron. And then Dygan. Little kick inside to Garlett. And Garlett, that's a good kick. Brilliant kick. Spotted up Ellard. So the game's just starting to open up for the Blues, isn't it?
It's largely being played in Carlton's forward half, and Melbourne are just holding on. They stopped them scoring reasonably well in the first half, but it's a bit like weight of numbers as this game goes on, and we always think that the defensive pressure drops off a little bit as fatigue comes in the second half.
He's the #1 tackler at Carlton in terms of averages, Ellard. He's a valuable player, not high profile. And that one's a miss. He kicked a couple of goals against the Crows this year in his first game this season.
Fits the new Carlton. I think he has probably a skew towards contested possession than uncontested possession. As you mentioned, Bruce, averaging, I think, 7 tackles a game.
Well, he's the sort of guy in Curnow that'll keep McLean out of the team. I mean, they're the bloke. They won't play all three, I wouldn't think.
Good speed around the ball, good energy.
Nice grandparents too. Well, we did that last week, didn't we? Kathy and Mick. Up goes Martin, had it slapped away. Scotland sends it backwards initially. Backwards to go forwards. Gibbs has got the ball on the wing. Come all the way back to Thornton. Armfield offers short. And just for the moment, there's not much on. Carazzo wants it, but he thinks that Thornton can kick about 80 metres. He's still free on the wing as Carazzo. Gibbs has got it. Doesn't spot him either. Goes short to the centre circles, and the mark is taken by Armfield.
I tell you what, this build-up of Carlton shows that Melbourne refuse to play that typical forward press. They're waiting to take the ball off the opposition deep in their defensive 50.
Yeah.
Totally the opposite to all the other clubs.
So Scotland is going for distance now. Sets it up long into the forward line. O'Halpin, well, he was blocked for a run. Well done by Warnock. Stayed off the pack, and McDonald took the mark in front. Playing his 100th. Comes to Frawley. Frawley up from the back pocket. Gets a run on. Kicks it towards the wing. Jarrah's been very quiet. He's marked the defensive side of left centre wing, just beyond the interchange gates.
Covers the ground so well, though, doesn't he? He just loped into that. That's a poor kick.
And that's the difference, Bruce. The setup of Carlton in front of centre and playing the press. They can take the ball off the opposition earlier.
Simpson to Robinson to Carazzo. And then Carazzo's kick just missed the target, but it's sat for Simpson, who floats it to Betts, front spot. Frawley did well. Watson, Murphy, a couple of number ones, and then Watts, well, he panicked. He got a little bit nervy and quick on the kick and out on the fall. I reckon my observation of Watts is that he hasn't got great feeling for what's around him. We're on to his case tonight, aren't we? But Hampson front spot, weight down, ball up. Tim.
Well, Carlton's injury concerns have deepened. Laidler now has disappeared downstairs with the medicos. He's having trouble with his left knee, and we now can report also Jordan Russell. We know that he left the ground with a hamstring strain. He also has concussion.
Umpire decides to toss it up. Martin taps it down. Murphy, a half play on the ball. O'Halpin did well, knocked it to Judd. It was tackled from behind. Legal disposal. Gisberts plays on. McKenzie out of defence. Jarrah will need to go. Gets those fingers stretched and takes the mark. Beat two of them, Jarrah. But this is not where you want him getting the ball. Although this is. In the twinkling of an eye, his position has changed dramatically. And the umpire's got the 50-metre
He hadn't
square to
gone,
help
Nick,
him.
he didn't go sideways, he was just going up and back. Yep.
So Liam Jarrah now 55 metres out. 4 Carlton players back to 2 Melbourne players, but getting in behind the zone, the mark is taken by Rivers. That was careless by Garlett. Garlett could have closed him down, he's quick, and just hung off him, wanting to get the ball perhaps coming out the other way.
It's a bad matchup. Garlett giving away a fair bit of height in terms of the marking strength against Rivers, but it was a lovely kick by Jarrah. He just had only one Melbourne player that was a potential go-to in a little bit of space, and he found him.
And you can see Garlett almost daring them to kick the ball to Rivers, and then couldn't make up the ground, and that height became a problem. So Rivers comes in and punishes them. Good kick, Jared Rivers.
It's been 5 years since Jared Rivers has kicked a goal.
Yeah.
2006, he kicked 4 goals that season. He's played 59 games without a goal, but he hasn't probably been in the forward 50 much. He's been pretty good tonight.
Yeah, I think he's been solid. I think in that build-up, we also got a really good snapshot of the talents of Liam Jarrah. He took the mark in a pack, and then, as Lee mentioned, just went back and nailed the hit-up target to Rivers.
He's just been starved of opportunities in front of goal, hasn't he? He has. Murphy well played, and sits it up. Judd using the body brilliantly to Walker, who rolls it in for a goal. A number 3 to a number 2 for a goal.
Officeworks has more choice at the lowest prices. These tubs just $12.98 each, and this 50-pack of suspension files only $39.99. Find an identical stocked item at a lower price, we'll beat it by 5%. Officeworks, lowest prices every day.
the real luxury. Judd's starting forward, but Murphy is understudy. He's become a really elite clearance player. Look at the strength. Just through the hips. He's got the body position right. And, I mean, I think you would argue he's in career best form, certainly with his presence around the ball.
So somebody was pushed inside the centre square, according to the umpire. Melbourne get a free. Newton, the long bomb. Armfield was up to fist away. Here's Murphy. Murphy runs it out towards half-back. Great poise. The kick not so flash, though. Dygan set a task, and he's equal to it. So Jared Rivers, his first goal in 5 seasons. And then responding, Andrew Walker hadn't kicked a goal for 16 minutes. Here's Gibbs. Sends it wide. Armfield stretches. Didn't touch the footy. Coming up behind, there's that man. Walker tackled brilliantly by Green. It rolls out of there. The umpire lets them play. And now it goes across the boundary line.
Yeah, no prior opportunity.
Umpire right with that. So a throw in. It's Hampson. Haven't seen a lot of him tonight. O'Halpin's done a lot of the rucking. He knocked it down in front. A lot of strength shown by Ellard. He's still in there, opposed to 3 Melbourne players. And we get a ball up.
Warnock just been subbed for Melbourne.
So Nicholson gets a run. First game tonight for him. Evans last week, first game, playing his second tonight. So both the subs now out there. Big name for Nicholson. And now Burnell inside the 50. Pettard just hasn't been able to do much tonight. Well done that time by Watts. And then he just messes it up with a behind. So down to you, Tim.
Well, more news on Laidler down there. He's gone for the night. Left knee medial strain. So the Blues are now down to 2 rotations on the bench.
See a couple of defenders too, eh?
Hampson knocks it down. Pettard ran into a dead end. Eventually, the Blues control the football. Comes out the back. Gibbs slips it away, intended for Scotland. Taken there by Sylvia. He crashes to the turf. Jamison in front. Close to the boundary line, Scotland. And it goes out of bounds.
I think that was the interpretation that Mackenzie went head forward and therefore wasn't awarded the high tackle.
Hard way to get a free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nicholson almost got one in his first touch there. And then Ellard. He's a tough player. Well done, Nicholson again. Getting in hard early. Robinson just has no respect for his own body, Robinson. He just throws himself in. Well done, Frawley there. Gets away from Betts and now opens it up. Green. Does he use McDonald? He does. Now McDonald needs the right bounce now. He gets it. Stops and props. Delivers to Bate. Quite nice. Long kick now. Watts forward. Jurra forward. Watts the go-to, I think. And outmarked by Jamison.
Part of his game he's really taken to a new level. He used to be the spoil-only defender, but now taking the contested marks in defensive 50.
As good as their midfield is, you feel that Jamison is going to be a big reason for Carlton being a real contender.
Well, both him and Dygan are both prepared to mark the ball if they got access to it above their head.
Yeah, we like Jamison. I like Rivers too in his game tonight. He thumps it away and out it goes. There's Jamison. I think old commentators would describe him as a Rock of Gibraltar type. Well, in keeping with the night, I think let's call him the Rock of Travolta. Now there's a free kick and it's going down there. No, it's not. It's going to be a ball up. There's Judd. McLean finishing up with the ball moments ago. Danny Zuko. Remember Danny Zuko, Tom?
Yeah, I do. That was very good, the Rock of Travolta, Dennis.
Thanks, Tom. You didn't tell me you were marking me. Simpson kicks it down towards half forward. Opportunity down there for Morton. Coming through strongly was Newton, but the disposal not so strong. Over the football, Garlett knocks it out. Well taken by Simpson. Terrific. Kicks it down towards full forward. Waite tracking it. Now he's got to work his way around Rivers. Well, he didn't try. Just took the ball across the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
So double the score here. And seemingly with an unassailable lead. But a slow scoring and a couple of goals for the D's would make a mighty difference. Great tackle though coming in from Carazzo, and then Garlett
sweeping on it and hitting the post.
That's one thing Carlton have got in their forward line. They've got those little small crumbing players. Melbourne really haven't got a crumbing player in their forward line. If they don't mark it, they haven't got the Garlets or the Betts, the guys who are slippery at ground level for that second effort.
So here's Green. Hasn't seen a lot of the football again tonight. Tough job to be captain of a side like this. As we said, at bedrock at the moment in terms of the talent pool. Sylvia knocks it down in front. After it goes McKenzie. That was in the back. No free kick. Sylvia got it to Bate, to Maloney. It comes back to Morton. Some indecision. Morton goes down the line. Hard against the boundary line. Marek sends it towards half forward. Well, a lot of numbers down there favour the Blues. It was well done by Marek, it was. It must have been Nicholson on the outer side moments ago. Robinson heads for the boundary line. Dygan gives it back to Gibbs. Gibbs puts it across the boundary on the full. Most unlike him.
Rare mistake from Bryce Gibbs. He's done a fantastic job. Just see the time in the forward half at the moment.
It tells you to indicate what the game's all about. So Carlton is spending 2/3 of the game in their forward half. Melbourne can't score from their back half.
And half of the problem is Melbourne are waiting for the ball to get into Carlton's forward half to take it off them.
Sylvia brings it to ground and then Bate wins it. Gets it across to Martin. A high ball, impossible to mark, you would think. And getting back, I think it was Thornton belting the ball out of play. You talk about Gibbs, he's had 16 disposals. Maloney just the 10.
I think that's been a real win for Carlton. Brent Maloney is their engine room in the centre clearances to counteract the likes of Judd and Gibbs. Needed a big night, and Bryce Gibbs has sacrificed his game and got the ball also.
Oh, Jarrah did brilliantly and then hooks back and hits the post as well. So Garland at one end, but a little cameo, bit of magic from Liam Jarrah here. So he's kicked 1-2. He's never played at the MCG and not kicked at least 2 goals. He's played 13 games for 4 tonight for 41 goals and at least 2 in every game he's played here. So let's see if he can manage that tonight.
One thing we knew about Brent Maloney, his partnership with Mark Jamar was fantastic. I mean, it was the best in the competition as a pairing. So without Jamar being sat on by Gibbs, hard work for Maloney tonight.
Gibbs kick is marked by Frawley. It was a good grab. Frawley. Forward of left centre wing. Clock running down at 3/4 time. He goes back, finds McDonald. He thinks about going across the ground. That would have been fought with danger. So he comes back towards the interchange gates. It bounces to Nicholson. Nicholson goes towards left half forward. And the mark is taken by Gisberts. Decides to play on. Centering kick to no one in particular. 50-50 ball. Bounces okay for Bennell. He's outside the 50. Throws it on the boot. Back to Morton. About 70 metres from goal. Goes wide. The kicking not good. It bounces to Green. Well, he took the kicking out of it. Dygan slips a hand pass to McLean, and now it's with Judd.
Judd with a couple to beat, but he goes back to Scotland. He goes back to Thornton. Yeah, Green with an area there, but Morton's kick was just had to hit the target. Green was on his own.
It just took him outside 50 when he might have been able to get him just inside the line.
He was thinking about having a shot for goal, and then he had to fight to get the ball. So boundary throw in.
Interesting stat we saw just before, which was Carlton's kicks backwards. They were 15-4. Obviously, the Melbourne haven't obviously put the defensive pressure on to prevent them from taking those easier options.
O'Halpin just got a fingertip to it. Nicholson, who's certainly put himself into the fray, puts the tackle on. McLean and the ball.
Interesting, Nicholson off the rookie list, Bruce, at the start of the season. We have a man inside Uni Blues. Who do you reckon that would be?
I've got a game day man.
That's him, Hamish, the blue blood. He reported back on Nicholson. He said a couple of weeks ago he turned up, having been promoted and all of that, to the senior list, and went down to a Uni Blues game, put on the singlet without being asked, and was the water boy.
Mark of a good man.
Yeah, that's right. He beat Hamish to the singlet, and that's what happened.
That'd be like you making me a coffee.
All you have to do is ask for it. Ball goes down towards full forward. Involuntary action. It comes off Marek's boot. Is it a goal?
Whose boot it came off? Which player?
I thought it was the Carlton player, but Marek was celebrating.
I'm certain it's off the Melbourne player's foot. Are you certain? Okay. I'm sure. Did you see otherwise?
I didn't see anything. So wait and see. So the other boy's in.
Yeah.
away, please, Brett. Thanks, mate. That's all, nothing to add? Anything to add? No? Pay the lesser. Correct. That's it. So it's all clear. Punch all clear.
That's interesting. The other umpires had no idea, and the goal umpire thought it was probably a Melbourne. Yeah. But if in doubt, they have to take the lesser score. That's the.
But that's not the first time we've seen that. It always raises the question.
That's the perfect video call to make a certainty of what was it, because I'm sure the video will show it categorically.
If he says, I thought it was a Melbourne boot, that should be good enough, surely. I mean, that's what they're doing. Here's Carlton, meantime, running down this member's side, and he misses to the right-hand side. He ran all of about 80 metres then. Right on the siren, so his sense of timing was good. Watch this again.
I'm not sure who's off.
I think it's a Carlton.
I'm going to say it's Carlton.
Yeah.
Who can you trust?
You'd want to have slow motion from about 3 different angles to have any adjudication off the video.
So it worked out well. The umpires got it right. 8-12-60 to 4-7-31. 3-quarter time, Friday night football. And this man caught fire early in that 3rd quarter.
Sunday at 10 is game day. Lee Matthews, Tom Harley, Brett Ratton and Ryan O'Keefe wrap up round 10. We talk to Gary Ablett after his Cats reunion, and don't miss Harley and Hugel's duel in the pool.
Friday night football, 3-quarter time. Melbourne in trouble, as you can see. Just the 1 goal in that term, 3 in the first half. 8-12 plays, 4-7. And of course, Olivia's dream is starting to take shape, we've got to say, as we look at the city of Melbourne on a Friday night. For more information about Olivia Newton-John Night, go to that website or try that number. With me is Nick Maxwell, and Nick, taking a look at what we've seen so far, let's sort of mark Carlton's card. Are they ready to take the next big step, do you think?
Yeah, I know Carlton supporters are very excited about this year, and I think they showed last week that yes, they are ready. They probably just need a bit more consistency from some of their guys. I know you compare them with for example Geelong, say Steve Johnson, Chapman, Varco, those guys. The equivalent at Carlton is probably guys like Betts, Garlett, Walker. Those guys are probably not quite at the level of those Geelong players, so they probably just need to lift a touch consistency-wise, but we all know they've got the talent.
Why no comparison with Collingwood, Nick? What are you doing, Nick?
Geelong on top of the ladder.
Well played. Now, one man has been terrifically consistent every time we see him, Chris Judd.
He has. He just keeps going. I've seen him limp off the ground a couple of times, really holding that foot, but he just keeps going and going and going and keeps winning the contested footy, and he's been sensational again tonight.
Well, Tim's been watching the Blues as well. Tim?
Yeah, well, Mark Riley, one of the assistant coaches at Carlton during the week, spoke about Matthew Cruiser, and he talked about the fact that he liked the unsexy stuff in football, the shepherding, the tackling, the smothering, putting his body on the line and over the ball. And I reckon if you look at Carlton, even tonight, it's been a scrappy game of football, no question about that, but it's still an area that they've really improved across the board, and they are now playing the brand of football, and you couldn't have said this 12 months ago because there was a lot of looseness about the way they played, but they are now playing a brand of tough, aggressive football, inside football, that I reckon can take them deep into September this year.
I think I might have coached Mark Riley. He was unsexy too. Here's Bruce.
Hard to pick up from that, but 31-60. So Tim's point about this rock-solid blue-collar Carlton team.
Yeah, no, they compete hard. I don't think they've been average tonight, but average has got them 5 goals in front.
Start of the final term, Friday night football at the MCG, and Carlton in a strong position here. Judd out of the centre, goes back to Robinson. Now going the wrong way. Jarrah picks it up and then pushes the ball forward. Well done by Gibbs, and then back to Bate. Jetta looking for Peddard. Walker in the back half. He's kicked a couple of goals tonight. Robinson building it out. Floating ball marked by Green. So he's built on his game tonight, Green. Coming up for his 18th disposal. Jarrah front spot. Well done, Jamison.
He's good, Jamison, isn't he? I mean, Joe is always dangerous if he gets the front spot and just jumps, because he has got a terrific vertical leap, but Jamison knows where the ball is in the air.
He's unique about it too, Joe. He often jumps when he's in front from the 2 feet.
Yeah. Hampson from behind wins it. Down in front, opportunity for Maloney. He pretty well got it to his teammate Jones, who tried the same thing, but it bounced away from Green. Seems a match-winning lead. 4 goals for the night, Melbourne. They came for a scrap, trying to negate the Blues. In part, they've been successful, but they've never looked dangerous. Liam Jarrah getting so much of the ball up on the wing. Here's Green, high ball. Jarrah in front, clears him. Pettard opposed to Gibbs, close to the boundary line. Gibbs takes it across.
I mean, you'd have to say that Melbourne's personnels are probably about 70% of what they can field, isn't it?
Yep.
That's how many guys are missing. So, really, to be competitive against the top 4 team, this is a reasonable effort in itself, even though they could have been blown out of the water, really.
Maloney's tackle, the second one a good one, and then Murphy gets the ball out of the danger zone for the moment. Marrick, quite opening term. He's got back into the game a bit. He's kicked 5 goals in the last 2 weeks. Morton squares to Burnell. Now Frawley sits up. Now he's 49 metres out, and he's missed Lee on that point in alphabetical order. Bale, Bartram.
We're here all night if you talk about their unavailables, Bruce.
Bale, Bartram, Davey, Dunn, Garland, Grimes, Jamar, Scully, Tapscott, Trengove.
So it's a massive group of talent not available, particularly Jamar, who's their big ruckman and one of the best in the game.
Gibbs to himself. Comes close to the boundary line. Green gives a contest. Got the ball on the deck. Well played. Bate. Watts. Now Green again. Is looking for the lead from Jenner, and that's a terrific mark. Little fella on the lead. Strong hands.
It's almost that new breed. We've spoken about Eddie Betts' ability to take a mark on a lead. Jetta obviously of the same old. Really good disposal by Brad Green. Set himself up well to swing round on his favourite left foot.
If you're going to play the style of football that Melbourne have tonight, and as Lee said, probably you almost have to, you need to take your chances on the counter punch, and they haven't done that. So Jetta with a chance to kick a goal here. Burnell missed a couple of moments ago. So a big kick. Give them half. But he's tugged it to the left. And the players understand that because the goals and the opportunities are at a premium, they feel the pressure sometimes.
Yep.
So the D's crawl up to 4 goals 9 here.
Play on!
Armfield, that one, Marrick just gets a fingertip to, cuts it off, and Newton in quickly belts it over the line.
It's one of those games where Carlton have let him off the hook a little bit by being a bit inaccurate, kicking 8 goals 12, but then Melbourne kicked 9 goals 4. You need to absolutely be efficient when you're not going to have a whole lot of shots.
Hampson to Judd. Judd's handball to Carazzo, then he tries to win it back.
Just see the work rate of Chris Judd. That's actually his 11th tackle, which is a career high. We've already seen this year career highs in contested possessions and clearances against Carlton a couple of weeks back. So, I mean, we all marvel at his outside play, but his inside play is better than it's ever been.
He's got the body back, hasn't he? I mean, he had the OP quite a few years ago, but it's taken him a while to get right back to where he is now. So that one missing the target. As if the D's could, I mean, they can't win, but if they, surely not, but if they could kick a couple of goals here, Nicholson to Newton to Frawley.
Frawley's got it now, sort of. It bounces awkwardly, still hasn't got it. Now he's got a problem. Betts stole the football away. They've got the numbers. They're flooding back. They should kick a goal here. Garlett gets it from Carazzo, goes long, and it should be marked. They queue up, in fact, and wait. Pulls rank on O'Halpin and has marked about 25 metres out.
Yeah, James Frawley not too bad on the ground, but as soon as the ball bobbled around a little bit, Eddie Betts is going to be much nippier, lighter on his feet in this particular contest. He just pushed him off the footy, and now the Carlton players, as long as they can maintain possession for a couple of disposals, they're on.
So Waite, only 8 possessions tonight so far. The kicks truly. That's his second goal.
Just watch this here. Just took his eye off the ball at the last moment. Now, Dennis, you love your American sports. That's almost the fake from the quarterback to the running back there, Eddie Betts to Jeff Garlett. And we see Jeff Garlett get ahead of the play. And once you're ahead of the play, it's a really easy forward setup.
We talk a lot about Carlton's small forwards, but again tonight, O'Halpin, Walker and Waite, 6 goals between them out of the 9. Judd bursting through. And Nicholson off the ground. So that's another area I feel like they've improved a bit in, don't you?
Well, they've had a low-scoring game, but they've had 11 guys who've had shots at goal. Not 11 goal kickers, of course, but so at least they've had a lot of players that have had an opportunity.
So Martin and Hampson together. Nicholson, Frawley, and Hampson on the ground, and then Nicholson in there hard. The ball coming out to McKenzie through Gisbert's, and then Scotland's hands were good, and then Murphy sees an open goal square and rolls it along for a beauty. Good vision, Murphy. What a player he is.
Just see here the clever replay of that goal there from Murphy. Just you mentioned a few moments ago about the impact the injury to Mark Jamar has had on this team, but no one's been more impacted than that bloke on screen there now, Brent Maloney. He looks like a completely different player without Jamar. Just 10 touches tonight. Before Jamar got injured, he was averaging around 30 touches a game, Maloney. Such was his combination with Jamar around the stoppages.
Knocked forward by Gisbert's in the opposite direction with Scotland. He went to ground. It's tough in there. Judd had it momentarily and lost it. So just 2 inside 50s for the Blues. 2 goals. That's a killer as far as Melbourne are concerned. So too far off the pace now. 39 points. Hampson knocks it down. Murphy again, terrific, feeds it back. Yaron, well, didn't do much. Just put the ball down in front. Jetta ran on and got it, but then disposed of it incorrectly. So it'll be a Carlton free kick. Murphy's career high, and he's approaching it. I doubt he'll get there. 28 at the moment. Is 37 against Melbourne, round 21 of 09.
Murphy and Judd have been the 2 players on the ground that have been able to get the ball, get into a bit of space and create with their disposal. Almost every other player, the midfielders, good numbers, but they're all under pressure.
So Gibbs to Scotland, who's done this well. Betts tries the half volley. Scotland just had to lace him out there. Sylvia, Gisbert's. Here is Maloney with a little bit of time now. That's a good kick. Pettard should mark, and he does.
That's a good example there for Chris Yaron as a defender. Really adept with the ball in hand, running off half-back, but had an opportunity in a one-on-one situation to kill the ball. But just still learning that craft, I guess. We're learning that one-on-one defence.
When he's sort of upfield there and has to come back with the flight, I guess all he can do is jump at the footy, Tom.
Yeah. Double-guessed himself, looked at the ball, then had it swinging. Fair to say, missed it all.
He's kicked 7 goals in his last 3 matches. He's actually never kicked a goal against the Blues in the couple of games that he's played, and that one straightening up, so he's got his first tonight and his first against the Blues.
Just looking at the mark here from Pettard, we've commented about Chris Yaron's ability to carry the ball from halfback, but that's not good enough. In the bigger games, as the stakes are high, you need to be able to win those one-on-one contests, and if he's going to play in the back half, needs to at the very least nullify that decision.
Out of the middle, McLean towards half forward. Judd works his way in front, then finds it behind. How the heck did he do that? O'Halpin released, runs into an open goal and gets it.
Another movement. We talk about Judd all the time. Just a contest. He just comes up with it.
Lee, if you were the umpire tonight, who would you give the 3 to? Judd or Murphy? I mean, you've had a look at the match. Because this is Brownlow stuff we're talking, aren't we? Think about it. You don't have to do it till after the match.
I'm not an expert in the Brownlows, Bruce.
No, it's the only one.
I don't know how the boats go there.
I've got my top 4 coming up, Bruce.
Well,
a bit later on.
Lee,
now we'll see.
I've just told you, Josh just told me you got 200 Brownlow votes. You just can get them
in the 1 year.
In the 1 year.
That's right.
Are you a bit dirty that you didn't win one?
Absolutely.
Okay. Kick the centre.
If you can be dirty at such things.
That statue that we walk outside, that is you, isn't it, Lee? Here's Carazzo. Still Carazzo. Well done. Kicks the ball to centre half forward. Newton and Burnell. Well, no talking. I've been thrown by Lee, and there's a ball up.
Okay, I would say Judd's been the player of the game. He's done enough special things, got plenty of the footy. I'd go for him at this point. Tom might not go for it, but you asked me the question, Bruce.
I think umpires have shown they like Judd.
Yes.
Martin goes after the footy, spills wide. McDonald, well played Maloney. Bennell, now Sylvia runs it up towards the wing. Liam Jarrah, how many balls has he got on the wing? Just lays it off. Bennell follows up. Now an opportunity for Marek. He kicks it down towards the pocket. Evans labours back after the ball. It bounces out of bounds. Well, at least Gary Dempsey got one medal, didn't he?
He did, out of his 260 votes odd, didn't he?
Unbelievable the number of votes he got, wasn't it? More than any other player, even you, Lee.
He's the most player ever, most votes ever.
What a great mark he was. But footy was different in those days, but he was the best at getting that kick behind the play.
So Thornton and Walker, and then Dygan. Because we had a little stage there where the umpires were giving 6, weren't they? Not just 3.
Yeah.
Dygan. And then Ellard and Maloney kicked it in, and a good mark taken by Carazzo. So the pressure on Tom for his top 4 shortly. But I reckon Judd's Black Caviar odds to be in the top 4.
Could you put Olivia Newton-John in the top 4?
Or Russell Robinson.
O'Halpin's kick, running hard.
He's quick, isn't he?
He is Garlett. Didn't get the right bounce, but Bennell goes to ground, and Garlett, who's kicked 1, makes it 2.
So the margin out to 45 points now.
Good finish. What he's doing there.
Practice that move.
Yep.
Betts and Garlett. Just mentioning Eddie's name, I reckon Senator Conroy would sit bolt upright. Just keeping an eye on him. Out of the middle. Kick goes down towards half forward, and the mark is taken by McDonald. Morton on the overlap over the head of Jones. Getting across on the angle is Robinson, and he just popped it across looking for Murphy. His first blemish of the night, really. Little 1-2 between Morton and Jones. Morton kicks it to the wing. Nice gather on the half volley by Sylvia to McKenzie. Kicks into an oncoming blue. Chopped off by Gibbs. Gave it back to Thornton. Over the top to Jamison. He's a confident player at the moment, Jamison. Although out of bounds on the full.
Nathan Jones!
I don't know, you're spot on the way. He looked like a Collingwood defender the way he played there, the way they've been playing in the last couple of years, just shrugging the tackle.
Certainly grown with confidence. Just down the other end, I reckon we've spoken a bit about Frawley and having to play that up and down role, play on the talls and the smalls. Really missing Jack Grimes, who can play that role, that medium small defender.
Nicholson to Watts. And Garland was doing a good job this year as well, too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So they've lost a lot out in the back and a fair bit through every other line. So a tough night for the coach. He had a slow start to his coaching career. Melbourne were right down the bottom. He only won 1 out of 13 in his first 2 seasons, Dean Bailey. They got going last year, but how much of this year's been about injury and suspension? Good mark, Pettard.
Mark's there. Play on!
Or other things. So Pettard's kick down the line. Shetter trying to get off. Yaron hassling him to the ground, and then Scotland with the switch to Jamison. He's got poise now, Jamison, hasn't he? That kick, a dangerous one into the centre. Oh, well done, though, by a bloke who doesn't know how to take a back step, but he's had to take a front step right there, Robinson.
So Melbourne get it back, and they've got numbers forward of the ball. It comes to Watts. Watts runs to the 50. That's a terrible kick. He got it from Marek. Marek's effort was wasted. Yaron. Nice gather by O'Halpin. That's one of his old moves, going back to the old country. Opportunity for Pettit, just flicks it over his shoulder. Almost waiting for the ball was Yaron. Now it spills to Green, and he's a chance from there. Puts it through. No substitute for skill.
He went past Robbo tonight with his 229th game. He's averaged 21 in the last 3 weeks, and he's got 21 again tonight, the skipper.
He's got a huge role to play for the remainder of the season. They've obviously got their challenges with injury. He's the most experienced player, as you mentioned, the game's played. He's 30 years old. Got to really drive the morale and set the standard both on and off the field.
Ellard out of the centre. Betts got a bad bounce. Newton held up, so he's gone to the back half in the second half.
Wrapped up straight away. Thanks.
tapped by Hampson. Morton held up by Judd. Nicholson, who's got in hard tonight since he's come on. Rivers. Newton overran it. McLean to Betts and a goal. Well done. Carlton hassling Brett Ratton. I like that.
He is such a dangerous player around goals, Eddie Betts here. Just puts the pressure on and then gets on the receiving end of this. But it could be an expensive night for the Blues. We know they're going to get the 4 points tonight, but Nick Duigan is on the interchange at the moment. He's having some attention to a right hamstring. They've been testing that. I'm not sure that we're going to see him again tonight.
Out of the centre, Armfield finds himself in space. Slips it away. Scotland goes down towards left half forward, stretching and doing well, Simpson.
Doing our calculations, that means Carlton got anyone on interchange, or have they still got one?
Just the one.
Trying to work out how many they've lost.
Exploded that myth, see?
One left.
There's Simpson from outside the 50. Hampson launches himself, hands to it, couldn't hang on, goes behind a Walker. Betts surrounded by tall timber. Frawley slips over. Well done by Hampson, wins a hard ball. Murphy, as always, scrambles after it. And that's a bit of a win for Carlton. They lock it in there when Melbourne had a couple of chances to clear.
It's a real concern. You just see Duigan on the bench when Russell was subbed early with the hamstring and now Laidler with the knee. They've been three really strong half-back players for Carlton this year, so that's going to test their depth for sure.
Umpire tosses it up in the pocket. Betts is through, kicks another one. He's got 3. Hang on.
Short touch. He's sure he saw it touch. Touch.
Touched, apparently.
Just watching from the stoppage there. Betts and Garlett are two players you just can't afford to let get goal side. Should just play on their shoulder and play on the defensive side.
So Betts just thwarted there. Looked like it might have been touched on the way through for sure. Sylvia back to Watts. And then Watts kicks to centre wing. Not a good kick. Carazzo going back. Couldn't hold the mark. O'Halpin. Murphy. McKenzie. Worried him out of it. McLean to Judd. Then back to Murphy. He was up in a flash. Murphy gets to Waite. And then Waite hooks it around to the pocket. Walker works to the front. Almost takes the mark. Evans. Watts. Maloney had it stolen. Was that Walker? It's a behind. So a good spread for the Blues. Walker 2, Betts 2, O'Halpin 2, Waite 2, Garlett 2. So they're the goal kickers.
Yeah, none of them had great nights. They've been okay, and that's the good part. They've only been okay, but they've still got 8 or 9 goals between them. And Garlett's and Betts are, two good small forwards. They work as pairs, and it's very hard to shut them both down on the same night. So they're a great strength for Carlton.
McDonald takes something off the kick, goes in short. Sylvia breaking hard towards the outer side is Evans. Awkward kick. This will be interesting. Evans, this is a fair test. Going back. Oh, Judd made it a no contest. Took the easy way out, just slapped it to Gibbs. Played the percentages. And Waite's got it now. Just for the education of young Evans, perhaps Judd should have tried to pick it up.
Duigan's back on the field, so whatever his problem was, they're putting back out there.
Carazzo told to play on, hard against the boundary line. Hoisted high, in from the side, Walker couldn't hang on, and the ball runs out of bounds. And that last kick from Walker, good decision by the goal umpire, and/or in collaboration with the central umpire. Newton appeared to touch it.
4 sides that Melbourne play the next 4, they're all going well, all up in around the top 8 there. They're going to need to get their personnel back to win them.
And that's their problem, I think, Lee. I mean, Trengove will come back next week, but the J-Mars and that, they're a bit longer term than all that.
So.
Yeah, that doesn't look good, that next 4.
So Judd in the heart of the centre square. At the moment, they're bottom 4, Melbourne, aren't they?
Yeah, with the personnel they got on the field, I think that's about where they are. Certainly a bottom 3rd team.
So Robinson. Bauer must be getting close for the Blues. So he's a halfback that might fill a...
Don't need that.
Yep. Oh, clever mark. He can do this, Waite. Love to see Waite, and we'd love to see him in September in a big prelim final. Pressure on him against a quality defender. because he could blow a game apart, couldn't he?
And this is some of the energy I think the Melbourne supporters like to see from Jack Watts. Just some real burst around the footy. Can do the extraordinary.
So Waite's kick right to the goal line. Dygan pushed out and behind.
So Frawley this time to bring it in after a succession of kicks from Watts. Goes up the middle and finds Watts. 25 metres out from his own goal, and that's right, 50. Betts was just strolling by and walked to the mark from behind Watts.
Please, Jack, wait for me. There it is. Play on.
Told to play on is Watts. Searching kick inside the forward 50, coming across on the angle as bait. Just lays it off. Sylvia, who kicked Melbourne's opening goal, goes long towards full forward, drifting back down there is Yaron. That's a clever mark. Jetta was bearing down. The goalpost was there as well. Just bounced off the fat bit after he took the mark. Goes to Gibbs. Murphy. He was intent on getting that ball to run on. Hampson, though, cast in the role of a rover. Under pressure. Oh, clever by Jones. Nathan Jones breaks away.
And he did Judd and Murphy, and that's a couple of scalps. And then Gibbs says, well, I'll clean it up.
He was thinking about, I just did Murphy and Judd. He was congratulating himself and forgot to look where he was going.
One to tell the grandkids, eh? Turned a couple of champs inside out at the G on a Friday night.
Bit of selective editing and away you go.
How did the team go? Oh, I can't remember.
Second to blue sky for Carlton is obviously Matthew Cruz. I think he plays his first game this weekend after the knee reconstruction. So just maybe get another 4, 5, 6 weeks, get him going again. He might just be better options, the second ruck, big forward, than maybe Paolo Halpern, who might miss out.
So the D's push forward. Jarrah against the odds. Robinson did well. Got the tackle in. Marrick got down low. And a boundary throw in. Who are your top 4, Tom?
Well, on screen, I'm with Lee. I think Chris Judd's been the most influential player. His tackling pressure's been outstanding. Murphy, the understudy to Judd. I think Gibbs' game now is a real team-orientated defender. And I've been really impressed with Robinson. And a very, very special mention to Olivia Newton-John. And wish her all the best in raising the $10 million, because that's a fantastic cause. And best of luck with all of that.
I thought you were going to say she was just outside the votes.
She was.
Well, she's doing a terrific job. There's Jones. Over $500,000 in the last month they've raised. Sylvia, 52 metres out, lines up. And it hits the post. Chris Judd and Murphy, your top 2, Tom, both have 30 possessions at the moment. And just looking at Chris Judd, his best effort against Melbourne, who he grew up supporting incidentally, and wore number 3 at the Eagles as a nod to Gary Lyon. 34 as an Eagle against the D's and 33 as a Blue. So still time to surpass both of those.
Scotland. It was an interesting mix there, Tom. I mean, Blue Blood's the top 3. Judd, Murphy, Gibbs, and then along comes Robinson, who deserves it. I mean, he's a tough nut, isn't he?
I think he's just had it. I mean, he's typified what Carlton have been about this year. He just throws himself in and just adds that little bit of grunt to what is a hell of a lot of class.
I've been mentioned a couple of times, but Gibbs' ability to be a good player offensively in his own right, but to stop Maloney.
Yeah,
that's a massive pairing, isn't it, for Carlton?
So McLean's kick to centre wing. It's going to be interesting to see how they play Gibbs too in the finals, the Blues, when they big matches. I mean,
he can do a lot of things, and that's I guess that's there is no one position he plays. That's one of his great values. You can go and play him as an odd field sort of shutdown type, then play, but still gets the footy. You can play him as a genuine halfback. There's certainly a lot you can do with him.
It's a courageous decision by Brett Ratton to use him in the role that that they're using him at the moment.
So Jarrah's a little handball. Now we looked at Melbourne's tough 4. The Blues, of course, back in the top 4 tonight. And they've got Port Adelaide, and then they've got Brisbane, Port away, Sydney at home, and West Coast at home. It's a pretty good draw, you'd think.
The important part of that equation is the Etihad for those last 3 of those 4. So they're shaping themselves up exceptionally well.
You feel like they'll be back in the 4 tonight, and they may be in the 4 for the rest of the year.
Yep.
And with Port and Brisbane, the next couple, ideal time you would think to get Cruiser back into the action. He played last week in the VFL. Here's Judd, so coming up for his 31st now.
Move it on! Play on!
Russell Robertson is probably feeling aggrieved too that he didn't get any votes. He was terrific tonight. Perfect foil to Olivia Newton-John. Bennell comes away. Just chips it across the ground, taken by Marrick. Russell started his career from memory against the West Coast Eagles, and his first opponent was John Worsfold, so he's gone the entire journey, hasn't he? Olivia tonight, John Worsfold.
We're singing the duo pre-grave with Olivia. I saw him down the rooms at half-time. I said, who was that blonde girl that accompanied you? He was the star. Robbo was the star.
He was the star. Only thing was he was losing his jeans, but that's the modern look, isn't it?
He's actually playing in the rep side for the Geelong Footy League tomorrow, so
he's a beauty.
Doing it all.
Well, if Eddie Betts can lose his shorts, Robbo can look.
I've been meaning to ask this, Bruce, throughout the call. We commented that it might be Eddie might be wearing Jumbo Davies shorts. It's had a bit of a Norwood Sturt feel about it tonight, hasn't it?
Absolutely. The South Australian in you, Tom, I agree.
Australians,
Nick Duigan might be confused. He played for Norwood. He's all of a sudden playing for the Double Blues against the Redlegs.
If you closed your eyes and you thought of Adelaide, you'd come up with those two teams. That is for sure. It does look so much like them. Oh, in down low, Bate collecting Carazzo. And then through the centre, Garlett. Martin to cut it off, Simpson, and then Jones. Those two teams had some great duels. One grand final that Norwood won by point was unbelievable. Armfield's kick out wide. Green chasing hard. So the captain with one of the last kicks of the match to Nicholson, the new guy. Armfield, of course, part of that Judd Kennedy swap. Armfield, wasn't he? He was the third man. And he's building a nice career over 50 games. Thornton in the back half. It hasn't been a Friday night special. We'd be fibbing if we said that, but the Blues are going to have a win.
Thornton around the outer side, reaching over the top. Hampson. McLean just put it up in the air, knocked on by Walker, taken by Betts, goes to Waite. Man on in the middle as he spotted him. Satanta won't be happy, wouldn't have got it anyway. O'Halpin looks to Waite, Waite looks to O'Halpin, but the ball was in flight regardless. And it's all over. Carlton win on Friday Night Football.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
A lighter blue tonight, but the result the same. 13-15 to 6-10 as we go down to 10.
Well, Jody, scrappy sort of a game of football, but you get the 4 points and you move on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it was a bit messy, particularly early for both sides. So I think we settled well in the second half and played some decent footy, and you know, we're happy to come away with a win.
Now, you had 31 touches tonight, but you had a lot more handballs than you normally have. Is that because your foot was a bit sore?
No, it's just the way it panned out.
I saw you limp off at the end of the game there. It got a little bit sore.
No, I'm good as gold. No dramas.
Okay, what about during the week, though? Were you ever in doubt of missing this game?
No, it wasn't. You know, I'd like to stand there and tell you it was a Lazarus-type effort, but, you know, it wasn't a big deal.
And also Matthew Cruz, I mean, he's getting close to coming back. When are we expecting him back?
It's very exciting. I think he'll probably play this week and next week in the VFL side, and then I reckon he'll be pushing for selection after that. So we can't wait.
What will he add to this team?
Oh, look, just his work rate. He's he really puts the team first, and just his defensive mindset around the middle. It's almost like he got an extra man on the field. So looking forward to getting him back.
Thanks for your time tonight. You go nice that foot up.
Thanks, Tim.
Try not to limp, eh?
Looked a bit that way, didn't it? What a game, though.
I tell you, he's salivating about Cruiser coming back because
well, he's a good player. The more good players you've got available, and yeah, we know he's coming off the knee operation, but you know, you'd hope in 4, 5, 6 weeks he's going to be a worthy part of their 22 and strengthen them even more.
It could be the X factor later in the years. We go back to Tim again.
Well, I'm here with Murph. Congratulations on your form again tonight. I mean, you've had a great year so far.
It's been going okay. We worked on a few things in the pre-season, and starting to pay off at the moment.
I just spoke to Judd. He summed the game up as being pretty scrappy. How did you feel out there tonight?
Yeah, it was a bit scrappy. It was a bit of uncontested footy that first half, and we really wanted to crack it in the second half, and I think we did that in the third quarter and sort of blew the game apart, which was good.
And the forwards, how do you think the forward line is structured up at the moment? How do you think they're performing?
Yeah, we're going all right. We're pretty zippy out there. We've got some guys who are pretty flashy, and we want to try and use their legs and their speed. But Cruz isn't too far away, which would be good. So looking forward to having the big fella back soon.
Everyone's looking forward to having Matthew Cruiser back in the side. There's also a bit of a whisper around today that you might have just about tied up your contract negotiations with Carlton.
Yeah, pretty soon, which is good. So all looking all right.
Should we expect an announcement next week?
Not too sure, probably would have thought. So
that'd be great news for Carlton fans.
Want us to stick around. The club's going places, so I want to be a part of it.
Well done, Ed. Good form again tonight. Well done.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, mate.
Good stuff, Tim, there with Mark Murphy, all smiles. Murphy ran past me at the start of the match. He's really built up. He's strong through the hips and through the legs, Murphy.
Yeah, he's a real clone in the way he plays, but also just looking at on camera next to Tim. Really good size about him, particularly through the core and the glutes.
Well, he's entering the prime of his career. When you get to that sort of 22, 23 area, you've had your apprenticeship.
Do you think he's a genuine A-grader now, Murphy?
I think he is, yeah.
Well, on that note, we'll take a small break and be back with more on Friday Night Footy. It was a 47-point margin at the end. Two of the best together there. It was 46-93.
The post-match show, brought to you by Bendigo Bank.
Not exactly stirring, but neither was the game. Carlton improved their record to 6 wins and 1 draw from 9. There's the final scoreline, 13-15, 93 to 6-10, 46. O'Halpin got 3 goals, Judd 31, Murphy 31, quite outstanding. If you'd like to see a replay, it's on again tomorrow morning, early at 6 a.m. on 7 Mate. So talking about those two players that got 31 possessions each, Murphy and Judd, Tom, it's a very powerful 1-2 punch, and obviously they're the players that will propel Carlton into the finals.
Yeah, without a doubt, Dennis. It's really been great to see the development of Mark Murphy. He's got that great balance between contested possession and uncontested possession, like his skipper, Chris Judd. His ability to work around the clearance has been outstanding. He played a really complete game. On this occasion here, bursting through the centre clear and actually gets the ball to Judd. So that's the added advantage. Carlton are now starting to become not so reliant on Chris Judd in the middle, and I thought his game was outstanding. Really also impressed with the other #1 draft pick, Bryce Gibbs, who provides a run-with role almost and uses the ball so well when he gets out in space. So the balance between those 3 star players, Judd, Murphy and Gibbs, is probably about as good as it's going to get, Lee.
He's developed a great consistency, isn't it? I mean, he's an A-grader now because he plays A-grade regularly.
Yeah.
That's the evolution of him, I think, in this last year or so.
Tough night really for the Blues too. Coming in, probably knew they were going to win. Hard night for the coach then. Let's go down to Brett Ratton. He's with Tim Watson.
Rats, we've already discussed how unattractive the game was, but you walk away from this game, you get the 4 points. I guess that's all that matters in the end.
Yeah, I thought we didn't play that well, and we still sort of kept the opposition to 46 points, 47 points, and some of our boys didn't have great first halves, but really applied themselves in the second half. So there was a lot to like, I think, with a couple of men down. How we ran the game out, I thought was really pleasing.
Defensively, you've become, do you think, a much better side in that area, right across the board?
Yeah, I think the flexibility of the group to go back, and I think you sort of hone in at pre-season about the players not just becoming a one-position player, and I think Scotland and Gibbs going back has really helped us, and it's been great to still have, Laidler's really helped us this year, and Dygan and Jamison fully fit helps as well.
Well, Jamison also has become more of an attacking player, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was something that we had a look in pre-season about the numbers of our backs and how we could get those numbers up, and sometimes you have to actually go for your marks, and we've seen how good Geelong and these teams over the last 5 years have been defensively and winning the ball. I think it's something that we need to add to our group as well.
And you talked about the injuries to your players. You lost a couple of soldiers tonight. How serious are they?
Not too bad. I think Laidler's the one that we'll have to have a look at with a knee. We're not sure. He wasn't good enough to go back on, so we can't risk that. So we just make sure that he's right, and he'll get scans tomorrow, I think.
And Jordan Russell, was that a hamstring or?
Yeah, it was. Just our physios and that said he was a bit tight before the game, so he's had a bit of hamstring. So as soon as they rule him out from a coach's point, you take him off the board and you try and get the next player to get the job done.
Rat's always generous with your time. Thanks again tonight.
No problem. Thank you.